breasts. You fainted and they shifted all out of whack. There.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello!
What is
that?
What is
You've
that?
never seen Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid?
No, I thought that
I
was
will
from...
now.
That is Dead Men Don't. That is from Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid, which is one of the funniest comedies I've seen in my life.
It's a pretty good excuse.
Yeah, he goes to a rundown part of town, so run down. Even the prostitutes were having a half price sale.
Now I'm gonna be watching this movie as a palate cleanser for the shit that was Cowboy Bebop.
Well, what it is, it's a mashup of old black and white movies, and then Steve Martin's inserted himself in with his own black and white clips, and it all links together to form a film.
Wow,
very clever.
I love it.
That sounds very creative. I love that.
It is. Once upon a time, things used to be creative and new and different.
Yeah.
Hi everyone.
They fixed
welcome to the impromptu stream. Well, not impromptu because I said we're going to do one, but non-scheduled. I usually have my moon days nights off at least to do something, flick my bean or whatever I want to do. But I just was so enraged. I mean, impressed by the live action Cowboy Bebop that I wanted to get some people together that were Cowboy Bebop fans and get their musings per se on how they found the show itself. We'll see that. So first up to my left here. No, that's right, but it's my left, but it's your right. We have Nina Infinity. Nina, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, yeah, I have a channel on YouTube. It's called Nina Infinity, and I cover all sorts of crazy nonsense clown world stuff on Wednesdays, and then on Fridays I cover good news to balance out the crazy news. So come and hang out with me on my channel, and also on Monday nights after this show, I'll be hanging out with Mandy over on Midnight's Edge for Toxic Femininity.
Yay!
All links to the channels of the people here in the description box down below.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Az. I'm looking forward to this shit. It's gonna be good.
You're welcome. So feel free to click on the links in the description box down below. Please give these people a follow. They're all absolutely lovely people. Next up, we have Wart the Wizard, aka Mandy Summers. If you can see her from, I don't know. She's somewhere in that box. Like I don't know exactly where, but she's blending in with the Funko Pops.
I'm not that little though. It's just a look. It's
There's no need to brag. Some ladies have a problem with that.
My box is really big. No.
Box is really
your
big?
box is huge, Mandy. It's huge.
I'm stopping there. So yes, like what? Hey y'all, I'm Mandy. Please head over to Indiegogo. Check out both of my comic books, Jack the Ripper, Vampire Hunter, and Pirate Queen #2. Like what? And go hang out with me over at my YouTube channel. It's Mandy Summers. I'm easy to find, and I cannot wait to rip into this amazing movie that or whatever the hell this thing was.
I didn't understand a fucking word of what she said. But lastly, we have Literature Devil, who I kind of might have made forced him to watch the live action show. And judging by the tweets he was putting out, well, no, you're look, you have a Faye Valentine poster behind you. You have a Cowboy Bebop poster behind you. That is enough for me to say, no, you got to get off your ass and do your fucking work, woman. You know, just like making sandwiches.
You got to prove yourself, you know.
That's
true. Got to prove to us, you know, a fake weeb or whatever.
How do I make pretty nerd girls? I create a YouTube channel, try and get a following, and then abuse my power. That's how I do it.
I also make a really good sandwich. Just letting everybody know.
Okay, that's a come on in my book, and you're married. So, Literature Devil, do you want to give us a little bit about yourself, dude?
Hello, I'm Literature Devil. I have a channel on YouTube called Literature Devil. And I usually go over like the mechanics of writing, things like that. Mary Sue's. I did a lot of Mary Sue videos. I usually have a morning show every weekday, normally around around 7:30 a.m. Central, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. I want to talk about some crazy nonsense, go over the mechanics of writing, all the craziness. And that's where I developed my working theory that is very present in Cowboy Bebop live action, but I'll get to that when we get to that.
Oh, we'll get to that when we get to that. All right. Yeah.
The writers of this show need to come and check out your YouTube channel because
Quote unquote writers of the show.
Writers.
I think they're all just horny. This is one of the thirstiest shows I've ever seen.
I know.
One of the thirstiest show that didn't actually want to show anything sexual.
I know, it's really weird. It's really
Other
weird.
than like BDSM random
Well, that
shit.
sums up Zoomers though. That's Zoomers in general.
Yeah,
Talk a lot of talk.
Sex obsessed.
Don't do a lot of. Don't do a lot of walking the walk though.
By the way, I went into the live action Cowboy Bebop full force right after getting off a High Guardian Spice. So it was like this train wreck of nonsense.
I'm not even gonna go there with a badge, bro.
I went from Cowboy Bebop to Hawkeye, and Hawkeye seemed like a fucking, I don't know, like a masterpiece compared to Cowboy Bebop. So I was like, I don't know, I don't hate this as much as I usually would.
So without trying to put anyone on the spot, and we'll start with Literature Devil this time because just kind of we're doing the foreplay before we get into it. How did you first come across Cowboy Bebop in general?
Oh, the anime. My friend of mine, actually a weeb friend of mine, who introduced me to all kinds of anime and everything. The actual very, very first instance of Cowboy Bebop I watched, or I got introduced to, was the movie. Actually, the movie that everyone says is hard to find. I got introduced by another weeb friend about that one, and I thought that was kind of interesting, kind of cool. And then I'm more of a fan of Samurai Champloo, although I do like both. Yeah. And then, of course, later on, many years ago, I actually got into the show because someone gave me the show, and then I just watched it, and then I fell in love with it. I think not right away. I found it really interesting, and then there's an episode I think you can point out easily where I fell in love with it, and that is why the live action hurts so much because this is the finale. They ruined it. But I don't know if you want me to get into that just now, but that's exactly how I got introduced to Cowboy Bebop. First it was the movie, and a few years later I got the entire show, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
Sorry, my kingpin fell over. Mandy, what about yourself?
I haven't watched it like as long as everybody else has. Like I did a anime stream every month that we do over on a channel. We do an anime, like a book club, but we watch anime. And Cowboy Bebop was the first one that we did. So I went and bought the Blu-ray, and I thought I'm just gonna watch 1 or 2 episodes, just enough to where I know about it. And I ended up watching like the entire season because I loved it. And then I'm still kind of new to it, but I'm not. I've seen it all. I've seen it all now. Yeah. And then I watched this new thing, and it was really sad. It was exactly what I thought it was going to be after that Daniela chick started talking, because I can't stand her.
Crevices.
Yeah, I can't stand Miss Crevice. So
they got sucked up in all of her crevices. And Nina. Hi.
I got into Cowboy Bebop many moons ago when it first came out. Because I've been an anime fan all my life, as you can tell. So it was definitely like something that I knew about from the very beginning. I fell in love with it. I watched the whole thing in like, I guess, I don't know how many days it was, like maybe 2 or 3 days, because it was like, I don't know. I just watched the whole thing. I remember because I got the DVD and it was in one of those bargain bins, and it was like the season, like the full season. It was one of the most profound animes I'd ever seen, because it was so disconnected with regards to like what traditional anime usually is, where you got, stuff like Ghost in the Shell or any of the other animes where you usually get a lot of, J-pop and a lot of different kinds of musics that are Japanese oriented. in those animes, whereas in this was all jazz, very it was very geared to the American audience. It was something that the creator intended. They wanted to get anime across the pond, and they were successful at it. So and that's why it became one of the best animes of all time, and it was very emotional experience for me when I was watching it. So I've been a huge fan all my life.
And just briefly for myself, I didn't have a lot of contact with anime before this. I'd seen stuff like Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Perfect Blue, which I really enjoyed.
Ooh, I
Oh,
love
yeah.
that.
And yeah, and I was just asking for I think I was just talking to one of my friends about suggestions, and they were just like, "Oh, you gotta see Cowboy Bebop."
Mhm.
So I watched Cowboy Bebop, and it was just like, this is probably be around 2004, and I just thought it was absolutely, fantastic. And then probably didn't see it again until around 2010, and then because of the live action show, I rewatched the anime again. 10, 12 years later, 11 years later, and then this current viewing of it was just like, fuck, this is masterful shit.
It's a masterpiece.
Mhm.
I'm the same way as because of this live action. I was kind of like, I hadn't watched it for years, and then I went back and I watched certain episodes like as this was going. So I would watch like a couple of episodes of the Netflix live action, and then I would go and palette cleanse with the actual anime. So and also just to juxtapose, especially like the first episode and certain episodes that they actually did to see the differences and everything like that. And my God, it's just there this one lost soul. There's so much stuff that's missing from this. I don't even know where to start. So I'll let you lead us.
Well,
where do you want to
let's
start?
start at the very beginning. Still listen to a musical. Well, I mean, for what was it? Can I just briefly? When we heard that there was going to be a live action Cowboy Bebop, was there any of you that had any hope for this series?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
I'm not gonna say straight up no, because sometimes I do have like I have hope. That's why I have a show called Infinite Hope, because I'm a very hopeful person. So I do, like, I was like, oh, live action, okay. It depends on who they cast and all this stuff. Like I was always like, okay, let's see where they go from here. And then I heard it was Netflix, and I was like, ooh, because Netflix usually is, off the bat, they don't have a good history with live action
That's
adaptation.
amazing.
I didn't even watch it. I didn't watch Death Note. I just saw scenes.
Pro tip: don't.
I won't. I'm not going to do that to myself this time.
It's pretty terrible. I saw it. Don't
Was
do
it worse than this? Was it worse than this?
To me personally, this is
it's a film.
This is worse. The live action Cowboy Bebop is way worse.
I mean, I love Death Note, and I've watched Death Note, but Death Note was at least a Netflix film. This was 10, 50-minute episodes of the goddamn
dragged out.
The goddamn thing. Okay, let's get into some of the live action stuff. Cast, first and foremost, John Cho as Spike, of course. How did that sit with you, Mandy?
I didn't like him as Spike at all. I thought it was bad casting. I thought he didn't look right to me. Like, I think he was a little bit too old for the character. I don't know. It just,
Spike in the anime is meant to be 26, 27 years old.
Yeah, and
John Cho's 49.
Yeah, and I don't know.
He kind of looks it too.
I mean, Asians don't really show age that well, that much. Just just like black don't crack. It's like the same thing. Like
I think he looks great. I think he I mean, good for his age.
For his age.
Yeah, looks for his age. But
he's not Spike.
Yeah, he's not Spike. Yeah, he looks great, but for that character, it was bad casting. They should have found somebody younger that fit. He wasn't tall enough for me. He should have been a little bit taller. I don't know. I didn't like him as him as Spike.
What do you think, Literature Devil?
Well, I mean, when he came out on his face, when he had like zoom ins on his face, he really looked his age. Like you could see on his face. Mm-hmm. But I was my honest first reaction seeing him act in like the first couple of episodes. The first couple of episodes I went through, I was like, oh, this is not too bad. I've seen worse. That was after the first 2 episodes, and then I immediately got worse after that. But I was like, I immediately thought about how well would Tommy Wiseau do in this role? That thing would be way more interesting. And John Cho's deadpan, no emotion delivery, like he just wanted to go to lunch or something like that. It's like,
You're tearing me apart, Faye.
Exactly. It was so much better just seeing John Wiseau. He's so fantastic. And then I'm just hearing John Cho's delivery of, you know what I was doing? I was buying a churro. It's like, well, I guess I'm really convinced that you really don't want to go. Like this, did you take a nap? Like, are you trying to sleep? Did you go? You just want to call it early lunch? Are you hungry? Like, what is the delivery? What's going on here? Why do you sound like a dead man inside?
Yeah, it's tricky because Cho's twice the age that Spike should be. And I think one of the tragedies of, because it's Cowboy Bebop is a very melancholy anime. For the lighter episodes that it does have, it is rooted in melancholy and in the inability to get on with your life and move forward and being stuck in the same place and all that kind of stuff. And Spike's age fits that because he's young, he's not carefree, but he's young and he doesn't view death the same way that somebody does when they've got something to lose. So he kind of plays it very flippantly. Hence when we get to session 26 and he says what he says before he leaves Faye and the Bebop. John Cho just looked and felt like somebody that had lived a life.
Yep.
Which is something that Spike hasn't had and was kind of taken from him. What do you think, Nina?
I think I agree with everything you guys said. The thing with Spike was I honestly, like, I'll say this. I didn't hate his performance. I thought like he was okay. It wasn't like the best performance of all time, and it wasn't the worst. The worst was Faye by far.
Yes,
by a great margin. The greatest surprise was Jet Black. I was actually very surprised with his performance, but Spike was okay. Like, he wasn't the worst thing, but he wasn't the best thing either. Just like you said, literature ever. There was parts where I was like, that's his delivery and some lines is just very off. Many years ago, there was a rumor that there was going to be a Cowboy Bebop live action movie, and it didn't work out. And originally, the talk was that Keanu Reeves was going to play Spike Spiegel. And that was a really, like, that was an exciting prospect, especially at the time, because he was much younger at the time. But like now, like, that wouldn't work. Like, he's too old as well now. Like, so you can't, like, the casting won't work now. But, 15, 20 years ago when they were talking about this live action, I was excited for that, because I was like, I could see Keanu Reeves as Spike Spiegel. He has that energy. He has that, he has that look. He's got the hair. He's got everything like that Spike would be, and the name too. Because I feel like Spike Spiegel is a very German like sounding name. I just don't see an Asian guy being called Spike Spiegel. It just doesn't make sense to me as an Asian guy. I don't know. I'm not trying to be racist. Like, it's not really about that. But it just didn't work. I didn't think it worked. But I think mostly it was because of the youth thing that you guys are talking about. He just didn't have it.
Do we all sort of have the similar opinion that Jet Black was not actually that bad at all? Or?
Oh yeah,
yes.
I liked
him a lot.
He liked him. For me.
Yeah, he was the basically like the biggest surprise for me, because at the very beginning, I mean, me and Mandy have talked about this on Toxic Men, but when we found out Jet Black was going to be Black, we made fun. We were like, it's on the nose, like, it doesn't quite work. That's true. He is a Martian.
He was born on Mars. Yeah.
Also, like
he should have been green.
Yeah, also his nickname in the anime is Black Dog. Like, really anime Netflix people? Like, are you just right on the money, huh? But yeah, during the Netflix live action version, there was that one episode that kind of focused more on Jet, and the one they took from the anime where it's about his past and how he used to be a police officer. That was good. That was fantastic, because that was the most tolerable episode they showed us, because that was just Jet Black and the character Jet Black going through, not talking about race or oppression or anything like that, or any of the nonsense we get today, but just him going into the his past and his partner and how they're chasing down this one assassin guy and how he was betrayed and everything. That was good. That was delicious noir. It felt right. There's nothing offensive about it, at least not to me.
Except for the parts where Faye and Spike are teaming up. So whenever they go from like a really like the good series, like the good episode of Jet's story, and then they juxtapose it with Faye and Spike working together, and that whole thing is freaking terrible. That skit was so not well placed and just didn't work.
Well, that to me was what
being a good episode to being a shitty episode because of that.
Yeah. The weirdest thing for me was the length of the episodes.
It didn't need to be that long. There's a lot of filler.
It's like 50 minutes an episode.
Yeah.
It's like the anime's like 22 minutes an episode, and it tells a really concise, well-written story within that time.
22 minutes per episode plus an opener and a closer that is quite lengthy as well. So it's like, they're not, and that's counted in. So it's actually a total of maybe 15 minutes of an actual episode, like, because it's, you know.
I mean, I wouldn't have minded the time, like the 50 minutes, if it would have been good, if I would have been entertained if it would have been decent, I would have been like, heck yeah, look at all these episodes we got, 50 minutes. I got like weeks of stuff to watch, but it wasn't good. It you know, it was weird too, because some episodes had good parts. Almost every one of them had a good part. And you could see where this could really be good. And then it just nosedives over and over again. And then something really cool will happen. And you're like, all right, maybe they're on it now, and then they nosedive again, and it just keeps happening.
And that was actually, Mandy, you were so right, because that's what I was saying to Literature Devil as well. That part, like one of the reasons that this anime just made me so broken inside was seeing the actual potential, because there's so much, there is a lot there that if somebody was like a head creative that was a huge fan, or like if the writers actually cared or whatever, you could see the potential that it carried. And there's some scenes that are really well done. There's some sets that are really well done. And like some of it was really, really cool. And you could see the potential, and you're like, you could have tapped that, but you didn't. It's just like the.
Yeah, they can't hold it. They had like every episode, they had like one or two little good ideas that they put in, and it's like, all right, but then everything else around it was crap. So
like there was that one line or one scene where like the episode's going really well, and then they do that one line with Jet Black and that old lady when she's like, "You're black and male," and I was like,
I was going to mention that. See, that would really hinted at my working theory I mentioned earlier. Working theory is that all these woke nonsense creations in movies and TV shows are not moral crusades. They say diversity and inclusion, and they kind of champion it as we're doing the right thing. We're championing the voices of people that are going unheard. Not really the case. It's just their fetishes. They're really, really horny, sex-obsessed weirdos, and are trying to shove their fetishes in your face, but trying to wrap it up as moral crusades. So
I know, right?
And this is another blatant example of, like, the most blatant example I've seen, where it's like, guess who's saying that? Oh, a middle-aged white woman. Like, it's just this kind of older white woman.
You're very generous, sir.
Yeah, that's generous.
And also, I'm about to mention, Jet now is married in the live action, and he's married to a white woman.
Yeah.
He's married to another white woman. All these. If you look at Marvel Comics and DC Comics, all these white women who are writing the comics that they hired to write these comics, they're going in and they're like, oh, we need to have more black men in here. Like, okay. Oh, this is for representation purposes. Really, not for fetish purposes. Okay.
That's the thing. That's why it was so surprising for me that Jet Black turned out to be actually the best part of the series.
He was
because
the one we were banking on being as one of the worst.
Exactly.
Going into it, we really thought that was going to be like, oh my gosh, they have destroyed this character. And then he ended up being the best. And Faye, honestly, in my opinion, was the absolute.
Oh, we'll get on to Faye in a
minute.
But also, that's the other thing too, is that like, I mean, we're not even going to talk about like that, Ed was introduced in like the last 10 minutes.
I know.
I mean, it was that was.
How do you ruin the dog? How do you ruin the dog?
I'm gonna even leave that alone for now. But just that the idea that we as fans would not like something or be racist about something because we're like, okay, well, we can't see this as a Black character or whatever. And then it turns out that this person puts on this amazing performance that when you're like, okay, I didn't think that this would work, but this actually works. He is jet black. Like, he embodies this character, and you could tell that the guy was really passionate about it. So like I will take everything back that I said about that man being cast as jet black, because
Same
he
here.
absolutely deserved it. He deserved to be cast. Now, I don't know if he was cast because he was Black or because he gave an amazing performance in his audition and they were like, yeah, you're jet black, you're cast. I don't know. That remains a mystery.
Well, that's
He's
the
the only guy who seemed
problem
like
with
he
work.
cared. He's the only guy who on the cast I saw, they seemed like who might have actually been like a fan of Cowboy Bebop, who actually cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, his performance. I mean, John Cho's a good actor. He acted fine. It wasn't Spike.
Yeah, but I know he's passionate about it, though.
He was a character in it. But and then obviously we'll get on to Danielle Pineda. But Jet Black actually felt like Jet Black. It did feel like he definitely was the best out of the main crew. Faye gets introduced in the first episode for some reason because she didn't even appear in Cowboy Bebop until episode 3.
Yeah. Honky Tonk Women.
Yeah, and then
she loses there too.
And that episode where she is introduced, it was one of the most iconic episodes in an anime.
First episode.
Yeah, and the fact that they didn't give her own episode to like enter this series as a standalone character of her own journey and her own thing says a lot about it as it is, because she was basically mixed in with Spike's story in the first one, and it made no freaking sense that they would do that.
And that's my biggest compunction what they did with with Faye's character, because instead of having Faye be her own character like they do in the anime, where Spike is the guy who fights, Jet Black is the guy who's basically the brains of the operation, and Faye is like a femme fatale. If you notice during the anime, she doesn't really fight as much as she socially manipulates. And then in the live action, this kind of made her another Spike. They even
they did.
There's no reason to have
a female version.
Yeah, basically, she has no reason to be there. If you could ever have like a two characters that are exactly pretty much the same, there's no real reason for that other character to be there. They kind of lost her uniqueness, trying to make her a strong, independent woman. It was really, really weird. Also, they really couldn't do it. Like in modern day Netflix politics, they couldn't really give Faye's episode the episode you get from the anime, because what happens when she walks into a place, she gets beaten by a bunch of men because they surround her, and she has to surrender. She has to give up. She has to surrender to a bunch of men. And also, the reason why she gets in trouble again later on is because she's being blackmailed by this guy. Like, you do this for me, maybe he can help you out with some debts. I need you to get this this coin or this chip from this one guy. And then she makes a mistake. She makes a mistake. Not some man causes her to make a mistake. Faye makes a mistake, thinking Spike is the guy that's supposed to give her the chip. So she gets it's a calamity of events that are Faye's fault. And that's a big no-no in terms of modern day politics. You can't have a woman make mistakes to this extent and have it be her fault and her fault alone.
But the what annoyed me the most about the first episode and the introduction of Faye in the first episode was it took away the relationship development between Asimov's girlfriend and Spike.
Oh yeah,
which is the heart of that first episode, where you can clearly see that even though Spike's after them, Asimov and her, and she knows that he's a cowboy, and you could just see there was actually a legitimate spark between the pair of them when they started to communicate. So much so that and then the way that they changed it, that it was Faye that shot Asimov in the neck, or it was hit to instead of having that really powerful end where is it Katrina or Asimov's girlfriend, where she shoots him dead in the spaceship before they hit the checkpoint, and then the checkpoint just tears the ship apart. So it kind of like lost a little bit there with me, because they
lost a lot there, because that was the point in the anime that I fell in love. The first episode, the very end of the first episode, and I'm not going to say what happens for those that haven't seen it, but the very first episode, the very end where she is by herself and that teardrops and then, everywhere. That's what made me love the anime. It's like, oh my God, this is deep. This is a deep show, and I didn't feel that it wasn't as deep with this.
No, because that's the thing. That's the thing, Mandy. You're nailing it. Because they couldn't decide what they wanted to be. Right. They wanted to be this like weird comedy show that like was like had deep stories, but they wanted to be like, oh, we're putting comic relief on it because it's not a serious show. It's going to be, comedy. And the other thing that I had a big problem with this throughout the whole show is the amount of like, and I'm going to say it, but it sounds really weird. I don't like the swearing in it. Like the whole, Faye saying like, fuck this every 5 minutes. It's just so out of character. Like that's not the type of show.
Well, it wasn't Faye. It wasn't even an approximation of Faye. No.
Also, you're right about the cursing and stuff like that. Cursing, the vulgar nudity and everything. They wanted to make you think that Cowboy Bebop had the stuff in it. It didn't. Cowboy Bebop was written maturely. Cowboy Bebop was written by adults who know how to write. The live action version, it's kind of like these weirdos, these political types. I clocked them at the mentality of high schoolers. They never progressed past the mentality of high school. Yeah, they're infantile. You can see this same exact thing in High Guardian Spice. It's no different. They do the same exact thing for the same exact reasons. It's dorky, it's awkward, cursing. And the reason why they do that is it seems like to me, from what I've seen, is that they do this in order to seem more mature. But again, it's from the mentality of a high schooler where you cursing all the time and talking about boobs and stuff all the time makes you less mature.
Exactly. That's why I felt like that whole episode where they're going to like that BDSM thing and it's like, oh, let's just be like edgy and put this like really awkward scene where they're like in this place and like this chick is like, spanking these dudes and they're like barking and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is so unnecessary. Like you don't need any of this if you know how to write for an episode.
Yeah, like, no, it's filler. It was very immature, very childish, typical woke filler that they added to an episode that should have been cut in half and taken all that crap out that didn't need to be there. But
on the topic of that dominatrix thing, one thing I noticed, one pattern that I noticed, overarching thing that I noticed about live action versus anime is that the anime, all the characters are unattached. They're actual cowboys. They're wandering cowboys that go from one place to the next, unattached, floating through space. Jet on his own, Spike on his own, Faye on her own, Vicious on his own. But the live action version, they all have collars around. They're all domesticated. They'll have the collars around the neck. Jet not only has a kid, but he is subservient to his ex-wife. Spike. Where did the whole BDSM thing come from? They just add that in to make Spike more obedient and yes, ma'am, please dominate me, miss. And then
what did he say? I love mothers as well.
Yeah,
and
he loves mommies.
He was just like constantly simping on.
That was so cringe.
That was so gross. Like, are you guys talking about when like Faye's mom shows up and like and like he's like hitting on her, and I was like, this is so weird.
Well, because with them,
that was gross and weird. Yeah,
they always have to go back to sex in Hollywood, even if it's not needed, even if it wasn't. They always have to go back to that, and again with the BDSM, why was that there? Like, what did that add? What did
because
that
they
add
want to say like, oh, we're new and edgy, and this is like a cyberpunk world, so we're gonna like introduce this thing and like and insinuate that this is what the anime was like. Because for people who haven't seen the anime, they're gonna think that this is the kind of
that's
shit
what
that
it
was
was.
In the anime,
yeah,
and it was not like that.
Not at all.
They didn't even swear in the anime. Like this, it's just ridiculous.
No, they didn't. As far as I know, because the anime was written by adults. The live action was written by adults with the mentality of children. That's kind of what happened.
Yeah.
Yes.
And don't get started on
Arrested
Vicious.
in Development.
Vicious was also cucked and just
so
diminished.
bad. They destroyed Vicious.
That's
they
the second.
First of all, they gave him first of all, they gave Vicious a wife, and they married him to Julia. First of all,
yeah, they gave him
boy.
Julia. Never mind
and-
just a wife. They gave him Julia.
And then second of all, there's like, oh, upset Julia, please give her some chocolates. Please get. Yeah, oh, really? That's what they did. They destroyed Vicious. They obliterated Vicious.
That was the second character that I thought was the worst. Like Faye was number one, and then Vicious. I don't know what the hell was going on with that guy that was the actor, but there's something going on. Like I was like, this is not right casting.
It turned him into Kylo Ren.
Vicious is he's barely used in the anime, and when he turns up, he's kind of almost Spike Shadow. He's this dangerous kind of flip reverse of Spike. He's very methodical.
He's his
very
alter ego.
Quiet. But he's still as adept as Spike can be. That's why we have the great bit in the cathedral partway through season 1, where he throws him out by his face through the glass. And
that's episode 5.
Yeah, it's like a quarter of the it's so early doors in, and that's the ending to this, which makes it even worse. But when you use him sparingly, he becomes that menacing figure. He becomes that mysterious figure.
Oh yeah.
His creepy bird, like in the anime, where he's got that really creepy bird on his shoulder, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Like, it's just
The thing about this is that we talked about before how live action version of Cowboy Bebop was written by mentality of children, and the original was written by adults. One of the things you can tell that was written by people who are mature and know how to write is because they know that less is more in the anime. They give you just enough to keep you hungry, but not enough to fill you up. And that's kind of what writing is kind of like. It's kind of it's a craft like martial arts, and it kind of go hand in hand. Where you have you see an old movie like a sword master. A sword master does not slash you a million times. That it's usually the sundown. Two sword masters run at each other, one slash and one dies. It's that's the mentality and the skill you get in the original anime. The live action version is a guy who just picked up the sword once, is like just flailing around like a moron. That's kind of what the live action version is, especially compared to the original anime.
But why would you turn? I mean, the bastardization of Vicious, because he is just unnecessarily cruel, which doesn't make his character any more like spooky, scary. His relationship with Julia, he's in love with her, but he's abusing her. Whatever.
Well, that part I understand, because when you're a psychopath and you're in a relationship and it's a toxic relationship,
Julia shouldn't have been anywhere near this fucking show.
Exactly.
The bits where his father is one of the elders, and therefore he's now subservient to his father. It's just everything he did, he was just browbeaten about. And so it's just like, why how can you build up a character when you're just browbeating them, overexposing them? We've seen way too much, and why is this guy a threat?
Yeah, his dad is not in the anime like that.
They said it was there to build up emotional connection. Whatever.
Everything's to be dad, it's your fault, dad, it's your fault, mom. Things like that.
Dad, let's not bring mums into their females, so they can't do no wrong.
The thing with Vicious and this sort of thing is that they really diminished him with how much they showed him off, and how Vicious in the live action was written as if it was an angry feminist who wrote him, and they kind of
not wrong
because they all like kind of write men they hate the same way. Like the men they write, and they don't like the guy they write. They write them as these emotional man babies who go off on like emotional tantrums at the drop of a hat. That's why I'm equating him to Kylo Ren, because that's what they made him into. They made him into Kylo Ren. He even kills his dad the same way. I mean,
he does. That's the thing too, is that you're absolutely right about the feminist thing, because that entire last 10, 15, 20 minutes with like the dialogue with Julia and like Spike, that was a feminist wet dream.
Absolutely. It was ridiculous.
Like, fuck you, and you made me like this, and like I'm gonna shoot you now. That was like an entire feminist.
I don't want to jump the gun too far though, because we're literally talking about both of the main character. Well, not, but the protagonist and the antagonist being fucking cucked in the final scene. So we'll kind of just jump back a little bit back to Faye. Let's just jump a little bit back to our darling Faye. Now, in the anime, of course, Whitney Matsumoto,
Sounds right.
something like that. Is
I'll go with
this con man who Faye kind of falls in love with, and he's essentially, you know, fakes his death so he can dump his debts onto her because she's, you know, considerably in debt with this cryogenics company because, you know, we don't know quite what's going on there, and we get it converted in this season instead of being her kind of pseudo lover. Because I don't think they ever slept with each other, but pseudo, you know, her pseudo boyfriend, whatever you want to call it. They turn it into, they gender swap Whitney from a male to a female, and they turn it into a con woman who pretended to be her mother, not her attorney. Now, somebody wrote an article that said, this is the race changing of Whitney Matsumoto was the first inkling that Faye was actually going to be gay in this series. And I thought,
how's that connect?
And I'll just ask this question to all three of you. Literature Devil will have to do you separately. Mandy and Nina, can any of you put your hand up if you've fallen in love with your mother?
I don't think either of our hands are going to go up with that.
I'm not seeing her.
No.
Literature Devil, you fallen in love with your mother recently?
No.
Freudian shit.
Recently.
No? Okay.
No, not really. No, I don't think so.
It's weird.
Faye did end up scissoring some chick, though. I was like,
some random chick that they brought onto the show just for her to scissor.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
No,
That's
sorry,
it.
that's incorrect. Some random chick that they brought on the show that said to Faye, "I'm gonna scissor you."
Yeah, and also she was put there specifically to delegitimize Jet Black's character and his ability to take care of his own spaceship.
Yeah,
she was like a mechanic, and she's like, oh, like, so like all these wires here are like wrong, and like who's taking care of this ship, and like all this stuff about like how basically everything he's done is wrong. And then
well, of course she is a woman.
Man.
He's a dumb man, and she is a woman that, you know, can screw the women better than the women, and can wire a ship like a million times better than a man could. I mean, it's typical. It's exactly what I thought they were going to do with this, and the scissor scene wasn't even hot. So I mean, just saying, it wasn't.
No, you didn't find them post coitus discussing orgasms. You didn't find that thrilling.
My eyes rolled so far in the back of my head that I got a freaking migraine. I was like, are you fucking kidding me right now? Because okay, here we have a character who is introduced in the first episode in the anime as a complete femme fatale, uses her sexuality to get what she wants from men. She's a badass to no end. And then you make her a pseudo lesbian because she's not even a lesbian. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to have sex with this bitch because I need to have an orgasm. Because then they just start talking about how having an orgasm is so necessary in life and how she hasn't had one for 2 years and that. And she's like, well, not that I can remember. Oh
it was
God,
cringe.
So
cringe. It was
is
so
this really happening right now?
It was unnecessary. It was, again, what is it with them always having to bring sexuality into things where it's not needed or necessary or wanted?
I told you
because they've never had an orgasm. These women who've been writing the show.
These writers are horny.
I think you guys are wrong. It's not that sexuality is not needed in this. Sexuality was needed. It was just not applied correctly. Okay.
There you go.
You have a very, very hardcore sexualized woman. Okay. You have an anime character that is very sexualized. She is a domineering woman that uses her sexuality and feminine wilds to get what she needs. But most of the time it's towards men, not women. Now, it can be towards women if it's necessary. Like if she has to get something from a woman, she'll do what she has to do. But it's not used correctly in this sense. It's just not.
No, it's not. It was cringe. It was. I'm with you, Nina. I was watching it and I'm like,
I
come
actually think
on.
Faye's a femme fatale in as much as you know, she's smoking. She, you know, the way that they portrayed her physically, yes, she is very sensual. But Faye's very she's very, oh god, what's the word I'm looking for here? I had it
Are you
on
talking
my
about live action or an anime?
no, I'm talking on the anime here. She's
manipulative.
a vulnerable. Well, she's vulnerable.
Yes.
Oh,
She's
yeah,
she's a
definitely.
very vulnerable character because of the past with the amnesia, and you know, you expect her to be this like really overt kind of femme fatale creature, but she's not. She exhibits quite a bit of vulnerability.
Speaking of that, there was that one,
especially with Gren. You know, the Gren part was really good.
I mean,
Because
in the
Gren
anime,
figures out
did
who
she
she
have
was.
sex?
I don't think so.
I don't remember her ever having sex with people in the anime.
I don't think so.
Like she used all of her, you know, her wits about her to get what she wanted, but she never had to take it to that level.
Not
and now
really.
she's over here like the scissor sister. Let's scissor, and it's like, why? Why
It
did
was really
you?
cringe.
Yeah,
But,
it was really cringe. It was really bad.
On topic of her being vulnerable, you're right. She has that vulnerability, and again, it's another instance of the anime Cowboy Bebop knowing how to less is more, how to show with less is more. And the thing is, speaking of Gren and speaking of vulnerability, that episode with Gren where she meets him, that is the part where we learn that Faye is more of a character than we thought she was.
Yeah.
The thing is that when she meets Gren, she's running away from the cowboy from the Bebop, and she's stolen the money and everything. Oh, it's this Faye being Faye. She's selfish and this con artist, whatever it is. We get that moment with Gren, and he's like, you wanted to leave them before they betrayed you, because the thing was with Whitney Matsumoto. She was wounded by that. That's her one wound. That's why she doesn't put a lot of trust. And so the point where she runs away with all the money and meets Gren, it feels at first as if she doesn't care about Spike or Jet and she wants to just leave them. But the thing is, we find out later on that the twist, without changing anything, we find out that later that the twist is that it's not that she doesn't care about them, it's the opposite. She does care about them. That's why she wants to leave them before they betray her.
She's pushing them away. Yeah.
Because she cares about them.
She sees kindred spirits. They're all trapped.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all trapped in their own pasts. Her with her amnesia, not knowing what's going on, who she is, what her life's about. Spike is trapped in his past with Julia and Vicious. And of course, and then Jet Black, he's just trapped because of the leaving the ISSP.
ISSP.
The ISSP, the way that he was betrayed, kicked, you know, by his partner, and he can't kind of move on from that betrayal. So I mean, she senses kindred spirits with them, and that's what makes the show kind of interesting, because it's not your typical hello, we're all friends. No, they're all fucking doing one over on each other at some point. Not in a nasty way.
No,
you know, it's not done in a
not
malicious way. It's just it's done in a way really because they don't want to let anyone into their own.
And they all have their guard up.
Yeah,
I remember that part where like
defensive.
where Faye gets on the ship and Jet like gives her like a bill of things that she's gonna charge her. It's like it's like, what's the I'll give for you, Faye.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's this? Oh, it's a list of expenses. And you charge on the ship. Oh, thanks, Jet. And then later on, we have the thing where they're desperate for money, and he starts gambling with her, and she just takes all the clothes, and like, well, give him his clothes back at least. I'll rent them to him. That was great.
Yeah,
but one
those
thing,
are great.
but to harp on the idea of less is more, and to show that Faye is more complex by showing you little glimpses of some deeper character underneath. There's an episode with the Mad Pierrot.
Yeah,
and Spike. By the way, this is another
which they ruined in the live action.
Oh, absolutely, because they expose Spike so much. Like Spike is ruined, and the Mad Pierrot is kind of like the way in the anime that he's a different Spike than he is in live action. That's kind of one of the examples you can use. But first of all, with Faye, there's a part where it kind of opens up as business as normal. They clash, they insult each other, they yell at each other, almost feel like they downright hate each other almost. And then there comes a time when Spike meets the Mad Pierrot and he escapes and he comes back on the ship and he's wounded and everything, and then the Mad Pierrot sends him a message, and this is the anime I'm talking about. Yeah. And then Ed gets the report, and Faye is told by Ed about the report, and then something really interesting happens. She goes, "Hey, can you keep this a secret from Spike?" And Ed goes, "Why?" And then Spike happens to be overhearing it, but we find out that Faye wanted to keep it a secret with Spike because she knew that if he found out, he would go off and die. He would go off and get himself killed against this invincible assassin. And then it doesn't harp on it for a long time. It's not something that's drawn out. It's a little glimpse of Faye caring about Spike and putting his well-being over everything else, and said, please don't tell him about this, because if he does, he'll go off and die. And she doesn't want Spike to die, and you can see that through that moment. And
she recognizes a man that is running towards death.
Absolutely,
exactly. Oh yeah.
By the way, on the Spike thing, this is how you know they really cucked Spike, because what is Spike doing? Oh, I don't want to go over there. They stabbed me once when I was buying a churro. That's not Spike. Also, like, oh yeah, how about we go after this guy? Oh, he eats faces. I like my face. I don't want to do that. They made him like a coward. They made him far more cowardly than he is in an anime.
They did. They took away his, not giving a shit attitude. That I don't care. My past is so. If I die today, who gives a shit? Attitude. And they changed him into, like you said, like, oh, I'm so scared. I don't want to. Where before he didn't have any. He didn't have necessarily a death wish, but at the same time, he didn't seem to really care.
He didn't have a lot of inhibitions.
No, none. Okay. Right, exactly. And they changed that about him, and it absolutely changed the core character. And they messed him up. They cucked him bad.
Well, yeah, because he's 49 and he's had a life. It doesn't work when it's a 49-year-old. When you're trying to do a 27-year-old story of recurring to first love. 49? Are you kidding me?
Hello? Yeah.
That's the thing, right? Like, I just feel like they did everything that you would. First of all, they did everything that you would expect them to do because it's Netflix. But it's just like it's like. Just the idea that you're going to put sex in this series but you're going to have it be like girl on girl action, because that's the only thing that you can do to be like, oh yeah, we're so edgy and like whatever.
Of course, that's the only kind that doesn't gross them out, because
like,
wiener, get that. They don't like wiener.
Dude, you're not edgy, okay? It's 2021. You like having lesbos on the screen is not edgy anymore, okay?
Well, I mean, putting a dick in there will getting in the way of all the lesbianism. They can't do that.
Look, a straight white couple having sex in a show now would be the most outrageous thing I've seen in a long time.
Brave.
Men aren't allowed to be pleased sexually
Although
anymore.
there was a sex scene. There was a sex scene between Spike and Julia.
Well, yeah, there was the flashback sex scene.
The flashback one, yeah.
Which was kind of like
grabbed a little
legit
thigh.
Sex scene. Like, I was like, okay, well, they did it. Though, like, I
at 49 years of age.
Yeah, like I didn't feel like.
Sorry, he would have been 47
or something like that. 46, 47.
46.
Yeah,
this is like 2 or 3 years ago.
3 years, yeah.
I didn't feel like. Okay, so like in the anime, right, when you have the Julia storyline and you find out that like basically, like she fell in love with Spike over Vicious because she was Vicious's girlfriend, but then like ended up falling in love with Spike because she realized how much of a psycho Vicious is in the long run, and she just fell in love with him. The way that they did it in the series, it was like really cheapened. So you feel like Julia is actually a total bitch that cheated on her boyfriend. It wasn't like as if like Vicious didn't deserve it or something like that. Like it just seemed so like so quick. Like it was like, okay, like Spike basically like he asked her to dance because Vicious didn't want to dance. Mm-hmm. And then the next scene, it's like they're in love and then they're having sex. And it's like,
but you're talking about a show where towards the end, the bodyguard of Vicious sacrifices herself for no reason because Julia got a boyfriend.
That was that one weird cringy like Marvel girl power stuff. Have we seen that one comic where it's like, I think it's like female Thor, where the female villain surrenders herself to the law because they're both women?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it felt like.
She
you mean like in WandaVision?
she surrenders herself because she has respect for her as a woman.
Okay.
That's hyper
okay.
cringe. That's like peak level, 100% pure cringe, like red eye cringe. It's great. It's a
Trust me, it gets a whole lot worse than that.
And
I'll tell you
what
that for
I
nothing.
don't get is why are these women writers in Hollywood always trying to do that when everybody knows women hate each other 99% of the time? Why are we trying to act like women are all like kumbaya and
True.
like, you know, sharing our pads and shit? That's just, we don't like each other 99.9% of the time. Women have
Mandy is
5 or 6
speaking truth
women
here.
that they like. I mean, it's not.
Mandy's
like that.
expressing how much she hates me without saying.
I know
it.
you're.
Yeah,
you're
no, this
you're
is
the
correct.
small percentage that I love, but you put 5
But
more
she's not
girls up
wrong.
against you, and I'm not going to like
This
them.
is why women can't rule the world, because you fucking hate each other.
It's true. It's true. It's
This
absolutely
is why men
true.
rule the world, because men rule the world because we're just like, you're a fucking arsehole. Well, fuck you, you're a dickhead.
Anyway, good to be here.
Want to grab a beer? Yeah, all right, it's true. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, they
Whereas
might
you-
throw
you
like one or
resent-
two
you hold it in.
punches.
You're like, oh,
Like-
hi. Hi, Mandy. How are you? You're right, darling. Oh, love, you're looking great. Fucking fat cow.
Yeah, I would never be brave enough to wear pants that tight. But girl, look at you out there doing it, living your best life. That's what they do.
My favorite line is by on this topic is by Oscar Wilde, who was a gay man, so he had like no skin in the game, so he could actually be honest. And he goes, he puts in his play, important to being earnest. Women only call each other sister when they have called each other a lot of other things first.
Yeah.
And that's
And I, my lord, may I say nothing. Just right, we'll go through because we're just kind of we've already whizzed through about an hour. Let's just go through a few supers. Let's see what's here, and then we'll crack on with another bit of discussion. So first and foremost, Grand Wizard, or Grand Wazoo 42 with a €1.50. I know, Grand Wizard.
Like, whoa, we got some celebrities in the chat.
It's my buddy, the Grand Wizard.
God,
Grand Wizard. It's because of Wart the fucking Wizard down here. That's why. I'm blaming Mandy for this. I've got Wart the Wizard and the Grand Wazoo, and I'm putting them together, and I'm making hoodies. Grand Wazoo 42 with a €1.50 phallic hot dog. Black Sun with a $2 says, "Let's go, Literature Devil." Hello, babyface. Can I give you something with a devil's face?
Oh.
Well, as long as it's not the fucking the clap, you know.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's not as long as it's not an HIV or something.
Yeah, as long as it's not. Yeah, and I'm HIV positive about that. Aussie Oz 10 with a 2 Australian says, "Happy Tuesday morning." Happy morning. Yeah, Australia. Fucking Australians. Tuesday. Marksman of 117B with a $2 says, "Vampire Hunter and Dr. Alpha. Let's go."
Oh yeah.
Referring to Mandy's Indiegogo and of course Literature Devil's book as well. As is Shepherd's Pie Fetish, I had cottage pie tonight.
Ooh.
Went over to my mates, played with Frankie, ate and loved beautiful cottage pie.
What is a cottage pie?
Mincemeat.
Cottage cheese?
It's mincemeat, beef, minced beef.
Yeah.
Peas, gravy in it. You can put other stuff. We put onions, mushrooms. We put mushrooms in there as well. And then you put a mashed potato on the top. It's not a shepherd's pie. It's cottage pie. The ingredients are what's meant to just differentiate the two. And cooked that up. Had some nice steamed veg with it.
I always thought that was a shepherd's pie. So what's the difference between that?
It's the ingredients of what's in. With shepherd's pie, you can have different things on the top. You got cheese on top and all this kind of stuff, and it's what's actually inside the mix as well. So it's essentially it's basically a shepherd's cottage. It's a cottaging shepherd's pie.
It's like a chicken pot pie with meat in it and potatoes.
Where the fuck did you get chicken from, Mandy?
Well, no, it's just because of this other stuff in it.
Was it the minced beef that made the chicken happen?
I don't have that here. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Beef.
Minced
beef.
No, oh hell no. No,
it's good, girl.
I'll
it's
eat the
good
crust
shit.
on a chicken pot pie, but I don't eat none of the vegetables and stuff in it. That's gross.
That's just stupid, isn't it?
It's nasty.
As a shepherd's pie fetish with a £2 says, only here for the babes as me and Literature Devil, thank you.
Yeah, definitely.
Jofro 007 with a fucking look at you two fucking weirdos going,
We're waiting. We're
only
being
here for the
polite.
babes.
We're the babes. We're the babes.
We were the ones.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Whatever.
guys.
You keep telling yourself that. Jofro 007 with a $5 says, thanks to Az, I've saved my eyes and one good ear from live action BeFLOP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
You really did.
The Craigley Lawrence experience with a $5 says, now this is an awesome bunch, and I just discovered Literature Devil 100.
Awesome.
Cheers, Az.
Awesome.
There you go.
Yay.
You discover a new channel, get subbed, get watching, get enjoying.
Mhm.
Big Owl with a £5 says, big as I stumbled across a vid you did a couple of years ago. I'm not going to say what it was or why it struck a chord with me, but thanks for doing it.
That's nice.
Aw, that was sweet.
Thank you.
Nice.
That was sweet.
I think it was the video where I showed off my penis pump.
Okay.
Kenrick, what?
Pump.
Sorry?
You followed up with the word pump. Okay, I saved
Sorry, what?
it.
Something about a penis pump?
They actually can
No.
go in and add hydraulics now, and you can hit a button and it'll like jump up
Mandy,
and
Jesus
down.
Christ, how
I'm
do you know
just saying,
this?
you hit a little, it's like a remote control, and you're like, boom, robo dick, and it starts. It's really cool. I'm just saying that's out there. Modern
Mandy keeps
technology.
on top of these trends.
I
Mandy,
do,
you need,
I do.
Mandy, please do a review for that.
I need
For your
to.
channel.
I do. I need to. I need to get down and dirty and figure out how this,
It's good
if
stuff.
you can hook it up to like music to where it does it to the beat of the music and stuff.
It'll be more entertaining than Cowboy Bebop live action.
Anything would.
And less thirsty. Kenrick Fiddy with a $10 says, who is ready for Netflix One Piece, baby? Woohoo! Is it going to make this trash look like, well, this will still be trash, but One Piece will be worse?
I'm never watching any of these again. I'm never watching any more of these live action stuff.
Yeah,
I learned my
I'm done.
lesson. I learned my lesson.
No,
I'm
no.
done.
Cowboy Bebop. Okay? I
Yeah.
learned from my mistakes usually.
They can't
I've,
do
I've
it.
never even watched One Piece, like the anime, because it's like 900 plus episodes, and I'm like, who's got the time for this shit? Not me. So I no. So I'm definitely not watching the live action.
It is a very long, girthy anime. I kind of spent a long time looking into it.
It's still not even finished. It's like,
No.
bro. Bro.
And the live action is going to be like one series of 5 episodes, and it's going to have like 500 of
Million
the books.
seasons.
Yeah.
I kind of feel sorry for people who were like really into Berserk, like really, really hardcore fans of Berserk, because that's unfortunately
me.
not getting finished. Unfortunately,
Yeah, that's me. I told Gary from Nerdrotic, like originally, when people were like, you need to watch Berserk. And I'm like, just keep in mind that Berserk is the anime of Game of Thrones. It doesn't have an ending, and it's never going to have the ending.
Mm.
And this was before the dude died. And then the dude died. And I was like, what did I tell you?
it is Berserk is the anime. Like there could be like some guy living in a cave, and you'd be in the middle of the forest, and he's like, I wonder what anime is, and someone from out of nowhere will say, watch Berserk. Like this is everyone will say,
I would
"Watch
hate
Berserk."
that person.
Watch Berserk, because that was hilarious. Like anyone at all who asks for anime recommendations, boom, Berserk. Everyone just bombards you with Berserk. You gotta watch that one first.
That's
Somebody needs to
unbelievable.
tell Nick Recader that he's dead, by the way. Just saying.
Oh.
Oh, why?
Because it's an ongoing joke that pisses off Nick.
Oh, really? That who is dead? The guy that does
The guy.
Berserk?
Yes.
Or
no,
he's
fucking-
dead? What?
Nick's alive and well. The guy. Fucking hell.
I thought you were talking about Nick too, and I was like, oh.
No.
this is-
Speak English. God.
Yeah, learn English,
women. Get
Az.
it?
God.
Kevin Metz with a $5 says the toys in the attic episode essentially kills off the whole main cast and never addresses it again. The show is amazingly insane / brilliant. Action Com with a $10 says, did Netflix Cowboy Bebop suffer from season 1 syndrome? They had all the elements.
Not all.
I'm not sure about that. But they didn't know how to put them together. Granted, episode 10 breaks the whole thing. No, I don't think they had the whole elements. I think it was horribly miscast for the
Did it have
most
season
part.
1 syndrome? No, it didn't have season 1 syndrome. It
Had
was
terrible
awful.
writing syndrome.
It was awful. They hate you. The people who made this thing hate you. They hate you with all of their might. It's not season 1 syndrome.
This is definitely not that case. They did no, because you have so many missing elements. First of all, we don't even see like Ed until like the last 10 minutes.
I
I don't want to see it.
I'm
But
so glad based off what they showed
I'm
us.
so glad as well, but you don't see that character. You don't see any of that. And then of course Faye is a lost cause. Like there's nothing going on there. I mean, John Cho is okay as Spike, but like there's no.
Like, seeing Ed kind of reminded me of like that Dr. Horrible sing-along thing. That's what it looked like to me. Like this horrible fan fiction thing.
It reminded me of Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Nathan Fillion is not going to be happy about
that. I hope not. No one should be happy about this.
No, we didn't suffer from season 1 syndrome. It suffered from. Remember, these are people who are taking a literal master fucking piece of anime and saying, we're going to improve on it.
Yep.
We're righting the wrongs of the anime.
We're righting the wrongs, yeah. We're righting the wrongs
What
of the anime.
wrongs, you fucking assholes?
Like, that's how you know it was going to be bad in the first place, when the people behind it were like, we're righting the wrongs of the anime. When you have that much hubris behind those words, you know there's gonna be a big hard fall coming.
Oh yeah. Ian Soforth with a $50 super chat, £50 super chat, proper money.
Thank you.
None of your fake ass money, your proper money. I thought the show did some pretty impressive things, such as make almost every scene way longer than it needed to be, long after it stopped being relevant, or the clever way they told jokes that somehow were never funny. Yeah. Great panel tonight, though. 50 minutes an episode when he shows 22 minutes long.
Yeah, that's the weird thing about modern day writing, is that they want you to know about the jokes they tell, so they'll stop everything, tell their joke, wait for you to laugh about it, point to it, say, hey, this is a joke, and then sometimes they even explain the joke. And as opposed to like anime, where it's like it's just quick, boom, that was a joke. Oh, that was kind of funny. That was kind of hilarious, and it moves right along. And not only that, it's part of the story. Like it could be part of the story going along, and something funny will happen within the story, and it's not just stop everything. Stop it, ladies and gentlemen. Time for a joke. Okay, let me present the joke. Okay, that's the joke. Got it. If you didn't get it, let me explain it to you. But
that's definitely a thing too. Like if you didn't get it, let me explain it to you, because they do a lot of that. You're like, oh god,
it's so cringe.
Ben Patz. What does he do for $20 though? With a £18 super chat, says Faye Valentine should have been Scarlett Johansson sexy, all feminine wiles and tricks. I think Faye in the movie she does a lot better in the movie, because she got a little bit more time to kind of expand on that, but. We'll talk. The movie's a whole new thing for another whole time. Black Sun with a $10 says no at Ben Patz. Oh no, this guy's super chatting to reply to the person who super chatted. No more splice offering. Oh my god. Virday with a €50 super chat. Thank you, sir. Wow. Says the reason they're clowning around and swearing so much is because Cowboy Bebop is an animated show. Ergo, it's for kids. Doesn't matter how deep it is, we need to make it for adults. Hollywood still doesn't respect animation. That's why they lose. I think there's a little bit of truth in that. I think there's some truth in that.
Too. I think so too.
I think it's when you get, we just said, when you have people that are literally saying we're going to improve, we're going to right the wrongs of the anime to a fucking masterpiece.
An anime, who I might add is like extremely diverse and has like, themes that Hollywood wasn't even talking about, like, 20, 30 years ago when this anime came out. I don't remember where it came out, but, several years ago, before Hollywood decided to go woke and Hollywood decided to, talk about transvestites and this and that and the other. Anime has been doing that since like day one. So.
I mean, I hate how they linked diversity and inclusion to modernity, which is not exactly the case. It's never been the case. We've always had diversity. We've always had this inclusion sort of stuff. I mean, I kind of pointed out a long time ago, back in like the 50s or 60s, we had Desi Arnaz, a literal immigrant from Cuba, who was the star actor, one of the star leading roles of I Love Lucy, a legendary comedy series. So we can go back decades and find diversity. But so it's not the whole thing about them. It's not a modernity sort of thing. It's not a modern concept. They just kind of linked it and wanted to pat themselves on the back for it. But they're doing it in a horrible, horrible way and very shallow.
Look, the whole talk of we are bringing diversity to Hollywood, inclusion, all that. The whole thing is a lie.
Absolutely,
the whole thing's a fabrication. It's complete gaslighting. It's always been there, and now people are just doing it for brownie points, pats on the back, echo chamber fucking blowjobs. By blowjobs, I mean non-sex or fucking children. One of the two. But no, this whole nonsense about we need more inclusion, diversity, it has always been there. It has always been there. It's never been anywhere but this is Hollywood, of course, and this is where people sniff their own farts for shits and giggles. Let's jump on to the next, and then I'm gonna.
That was a Cowboy Bebop thing.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Oh my God. 3, 2, 1.
Nice.
2, 1. I know I must have just psychologically got in there, you know. I know. Wait, baby. Talking and drawing with Shane with a $5 says, "Hail Mandy and Literature Devil."
Shane, what is up, love bug?
Andrew Clark on the $2 says, "Do you think episode length affected the music score?" Well, it's the same. They use the same musician.
I have zero complaints on the score.
They still use the same arranger of Yoko Kanno. So the music was actually pretty good because kind of the same music from the anime, and she also does like the music for Ghost in the Shell and things like that. She arranges these things.
But I just think the length of the episode.
I can't complain about really is they did really good with the music. I thought.
I thought they did good with the music, and thank God actually for John Cho, because he's the one that got them to get the guy for the music, and that's one of the reasons that I say that he actually was a fan of the series, because he got the music person involved, because he was like, you can't make a Cowboy Bebop live action without that person. This is that the music is the soul of this anime, and so they got them involved, and I would have liked a little bit more jazzy tunes instead of like the very basic just over and over again. Like, because there's a lot of like encompassing jazz songs that goes with the episodes, and having such a long episode, you could definitely do more encompassing like songs and stuff like that, which they didn't do. But
also, this one, I don't know if you want to play and talk about it, but there was a kind of a travesty that I've seen no one really mention, is what they did to Abdul Hakim in the live action. Just ruined that character. Like in the anime, he was like this awesome, like hardcore criminal guy who could just beat up all kinds of people. And then in the live action, they turned him into this simp for dogs. And he's like, "Well, please,
simp for dogs with a
Oh my God! Oh, I totally forgot.
Ruined
like
Abdul Hakim. Abdul Hakim was one of the coolest bad guys. He only shows up for one episode in the anime, but he's one of the coolest, most memorable bad guys because they kind of modeled him after Abdul Jabbar.
That's unfair. They ruined a lot of good characters in this live action.
They did.
They did. But I just
I'll be
that
right
was
back.
really
I'm gonna let
noticeable.
Bella in.
They really deballed that guy.
Yeah, I don't think the episode length affected the musical score. I think the episode length just affected the series in general. The show in general. Sisadek with the $2 super chat says, "Hey, as my name is pronounced Tangerine." Oh my. Oh my. And just blast through a couple more. 21 Palika with a 250 dinars, maybe. No. Something
Willy
Serbian,
Bullies?
maybe. Yeah. 250 Willy Bullies. When I first saw Faye, my eyes Willy Billies, my eyes rolled back into my head so far that I could see where the day was before. Wow.
That was me. That was me. I was like, oh my God.
Fantastic. Yeah, I got a first scene. I just wanted to punch in the face. Nikki D with a $20 says this adaptation has all the woke hallmarks of modern film and TV: race swapped characters, sexuality swapped characters, serious male characters turned into caricatures, specifically vicious, identity politics, Gren, and girl boss Julia. Perfect. Yeah, absolutely perfect with that one. Ooh, wow.
Gren was also a complete waste of time in this series.
Oh, yeah.
I
So much for
love
righting the wrongs
the
of the
character in the anime because of what she or he went through.
It's a he.
It's a
Gren,
he.
yeah.
Gran was a man.
It's a he that got banged up and had to take experimental drugs, which were full of estrogen, which
was
made
forced on him.
Yeah, which was forced on him, which made his breasts grow.
Yeah.
And the
so
fact
he was
that
not a willing transvestite.
No, and the fact that they made him just like this
Transgender,
rando,
not transvestite.
Yeah, like they just made him this rando, like, bouncer at the club that's like, oh, like I'm just a trans person that's here, you guys, for
They
diversity.
made Gren a lackey. They made Gren a lackey to Anne. That's it.
Yeah, they're basically the bar manager. Gren, the transgender bar manager.
Oh, and then somehow he
Stunning
or
and brave.
she ends up like he or she, whatever the person ends up freaking like finding Spike at one of the places, like after he got shot up, and it's like, how'd you get me here? And it's like, Gren found you. Okay, like how? Like how the fuck did Gren go from bar managing to finding Spike in the middle of nowhere after he got shot up? Like it makes
Don't ask any
no
questions.
fucking sense.
Magic.
They start falling apart when you
guys.
ask questions, okay? Yeah, the original Gren from the anime, insightful, interesting, mysterious, wounded, hurt. This guy has gone through hell. This guy was in like the army and was betrayed by Vicious, a guy who thought he was his friend, and has lived life since then, wondering every day, every single day, why he's living the life he is, because he came back home from the war, arrested for being a spy for no good reason, and then they're the prisoners, and when he's a prisoner they gave him this Indian drug, he calls it, that was highly addictive. It had the side effect of manipulating his hormones and turn him into what you see in the anime, this both woman and man, and he goes, I am both and neither. And the he was both scarred emotionally, scarred physically, he was chained, forever altered to be the thing that he is now, whatever he wants to call it. And all because he lived his life until then, all for the off chance of facing Vicious again and asking why. And they got rid of all of that for no reason, just to make him a freaking lackey.
Yeah, they died for
righting
that.
the wrongs of the freaking anime. This is you righting the wrongs of the anime to diminish the role of Gren to this extent, where he's just a meaningless lackey, a meaningless minion. Okay, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and I actually...
This isn't a hustle, by the way, for actors that go by they, them to get extra work. At all.
No, not at all. No, it's so messed up what they did to that character. It's absolutely ridiculous what they did.
And the thing is like I actually talked to somebody. I don't know if you were there, Mandy, but we talked to Saggy Millens, who actually kind of like enjoyed some parts of the live action.
You keep vamping. I'm gonna just fill up my water.
Okay. Yeah, and we like, and she was talking about how like this character, like she was with, this is before I had watched the series. She was telling us like that they had wasted Gren, and I was like, well, like that they talk about like her history or anything like that, and she was like, no, because they're expecting to do it in season 2, and I'm like, there's no season 2. Like it hasn't been announced. Like there's no. I don't know if they're going to get a season 2. I mean, I don't know if they will, but I mean, I guess it's a safe bet because it's Netflix, and they usually.
I'm not watching season 2.
I'm done.
I barely made it through season 1. I mean, with the Gren character, they had 50 minutes per episode, right? Filled with bullcrap that nobody wanted anyways. Why couldn't they have made that a good character with that time? Why couldn't they have built on these characters? Because that's the one thing, a big complaint I have with this. There was no real character building. I didn't care. If I would have seen this before I had watched the anime, I wouldn't have gave a crap about any of these characters.
There was a tiny bit I found with regards to Faye, because at first when you see Faye, like she's a total bitch. Like she's just like a total just unlikable character. And then by the end, she's less of a bitch, and she's like, go team, and she's kind of like, with the team and stuff like that. So I'm not gonna take that away, because they did a little bit of that with regards to Faye, but it wasn't like, it was nowhere near enough, or like what we expected. But they still did it, because she started out as a completely just she didn't even want to be there, and then
I agree, but it's Faye, so
I know it was just fucking
the
bad.
actress. I dislike that actress
so
badly. That even if that would have been the best written character of the entire thing, I would have probably hated her because of the actress that was playing her. I really do not like that Daniela chick.
I want to say that too, Mandy, but I think I would have, because I think that I try my best to separate the character from the actor from the art from the artist kind of thing.
Right.
So I think I could have, if she was well written and a good character, then I would have been like, okay, fuck whatever Daniela, her name is. It's kind of like Luke Skywalker. I still love Luke Skywalker, even though I hate Mark Hamill and his politics. Mark Hamill's trash.
Now him, I'm able to do that with. I think it's because it's a female. It goes back to females. I take
you hate her
from females, and then I will from males, and that goes with celebrities as well. If a male celebrity is out there being cocky and condescending and saying the kind of shit that Daniela did, I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever, But when the girl does it, well, now I just kind of want to go and kick her, And
she was unpleasant.
Yeah, very unpleasant. So I think that's what it is. I think it goes back to the fact that she's a girl, so I'll tolerate less bullshit from her.
She's like the Brie Larson school of
right?
an audience.
Right? No, she ruined it. She ruined it with that little speech.
She shouldn't have fucking said anything.
I think we're talking about the response to her character. Oh, blimey!
She's yawning.
Oh, no.
She agrees that Daniela Pineda is a fucking bitch.
She does. She agrees.
So yeah, I take it we're talking about when people responded to her costume reveal.
Yes.
Her awful, horrible costume reveal.
Yeah.
How come they made Spike look like Spike's costume? It was you could tell it was Spike's costume. Then they got Jet pretty spot on. But no, when it came to Faye, suddenly we have to make changes. Suddenly that's not okay.
Now, I read an article about that, and the reason actually was exactly what we thought that it was. It was a long thing saying that they thought that she was too sexy for this day and age, and she, it was.
That's a load of crap, though.
Absolutely.
Because they had BDSM in this, okay?
Too sexy,
it was like
okay.
They had BDSM. They had a big poster with massive knockers. They had a factory full of naked people. They had her banging a woman. They had her in a red dress with her fucking tits hanging out half the time.
That seems like an excuse that women give other women, oh, no, it's okay. You're not fat. You're just big bone. That sort of thing. It seems like, oh, she's too sexy for this thing.
Yeah.
You're too sexy, dear. No.
Too sexy for Faye Valentine.
Also, it kind of falls off the truck here when they say, oh, she's too sexy for this day and age. When they have a white woman going on, oh, you're black and male. This doesn't really fit that well.
Exactly. It's it doesn't work, man. If you want to say there's no
she said you're jet and black.
She's talking about black male.
She said you're male and black.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, the black male. Yeah, you're black
and male. Whoa.
Fuck it, yeah. Oh, yeah. Fuck me.
Another time that my eyes literally just rolled when she said, I'm like,
I was like, this is the I'm looking around because my husband refused to watch this with me, and I'm like,
smart man.
I need someone here.
Yeah.
Did you just hear this? This was an actual line in this show. What the fuck? But it's just the other lady too, the cowboy chick. What was her name? The one that they show the commercials for, and they're the ones that tell me.
Oh yeah, I know the one you're going on about though. Sure.
She's like, hey y'all,
yeah,
blah blah blah.
And
she had the costume too.
But they got the flattest woman they possibly could to do that.
That's true, but she did have the costume with the because it was all
but nothing was going to fall out of that.
No.
Apart from a couple of raisins.
She was flat as a wall. It's true.
She was flat as pancake. God bless her. But the thing is, the whole point is that character is like, she's busty in the anime.
Yeah.
Because it's all, this is fun party time. Go out, kill these people. Type of business. Okay, let's grab some more since we're kind of vibing along with the audience now. Yanis Yava, maybe, probably fucked it up. Sorry, dude. With a €5 says, what if a man said the same lines to Faye that the lesbian chick said to her? I bet my ass that it would be called sexist by the people who cheer her right now. Of course. Because if we just swap that woman to be a man, then that man, they would say, forced themselves upon Faye.
It was a Me Too.
Hashtag rape or something.
She doesn't have her memories. She doesn't know what's going on, and they took advantage of her. But if it's a woman, that's fine.
Then it's okay because Wonder Woman did that. It's like fine.
Wonder Woman. That's what happened then. Oh my god,
that wasn't rape then. No. So it should be fine then, right? You want to be consistent.
Yeah, true. You got to be consistent and hypocritical. Action Com with a $10 says, Gren, the saxophone playing hermaphrodite soldier after Vicious in the anime, was now the cross-dressing maitre d' in that club. Did you make that connection? Well, we didn't make the connection of what one meant to the other, but the name connection, yeah, and we just had a discussion about it. We just discussed it as well. But yeah, they ruined the character of Gren. They gave them
so much. They gutted the character and just tossed in the rotten corpse, and that's kind of what we got left with.
That is a perfect description of what they did.
Instead of, like, for example, instead of going into such details about Vicious's character, they could have given Gren more time and then, like, fleshed that character out so that you can keep that mysterious aspect of Vicious and then have this, like, fleshed out character with Gren. But they didn't do that. Nope. They were like, no. We're just going to focus on... And by the way, like, did anyone else have a problem with the way that this was shot in some scenes? Like, it's just like a continuous, like right up, like the way the camera angles, like right on everyone's
the Dutch angles
face.
And stuff.
Yeah, like I was just like, dude, they had like these scenes where they're like close up of Vicious's mouth, and the dude has like crooked teeth. Yeah, and I'm like, I don't need to see this like so zoomed in, like on like 4K. What the fuck?
You know what? Now that you mention it,
I'm British, and
I mean, now that you mention it,
I got straight teeth. I got straight
teeth.
Nice
teeth. Yeah.
So some Brits, we do have decent teeth. All right, okay.
I don't think that's still a thing.
To be fair, though, Vicious's teeth in live action, he had bad guy teeth. Those are bad guy teeth.
He did have bad guy teeth.
I mean, even Faye's mouth. I was like, stop zooming in on her weird gap tooth. Like,
I do understand what you mean, though. It was getting to the point where just like, since we're here, let's just explore.
Yeah. And you guys, like, I have a theater, so it's like, it's actually like, you know, a wall that I watch this on. So it's like a constant, like, zoomed in, like it's like a wall of like this person's mouth, and I'm like, okay.
So your entire like living room wall with this guy's gimped up grill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of Vicious and everything, remember that one of the last episodes of live action, where it's like he confronts Julie, and the next episode begins. And he's talking about how sadistic he is with a knife and everything, and it is zoom out, and this is Spike and Vicious dressing up as janitors, and he's talking about how he had a woman shave his balls with a straight razor. There's talking about how he shaved his balls. Like, really more of this nonsense? Okay.
Oh my god, I forgot about that line. But that was another one where I was like rolling my mouth.
John Cho wanted to tell the world that he's got a big 70s bush.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's a reverse mullet.
Nice, John.
That's
as long as the wife likes it.
That's a downstairs mullet where you have the bush, but you shave your balls. So it's like, you know, business in the and party in the back.
Party in the back.
No, it's opposite. No, you shave your pubes and then you leave your balls, and then it's
Jesus Christ, Mandy.
I've come up with ideas. I got plans.
You got okay. Ben Pats again. It's go on.
Somehow this is going to be worked into Mandy's Mandy Sutra tonight on toxic femininity.
I got a
Tune
good
in
one
for
for
that.
tonight. Yes, I got a
Tune
good
in
one
for
for
that.
tonight.
Sorry, go ahead, Az. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. You carry on. You carry on. No, you carry on talking about blowjob and flossing at the same time, or whatever
Flicking
you're
the
going on about.
bean.
Straight razors and balls and stuff.
Flicking the bean. Like apparently.
Take a
razor
shot every
and
time they
balls.
mention balls or say the word balls or something like that in or reference trauma
Dickle
to balls.
Dickle balls.
Yeah, exactly. Or talking about how they're going to deliver some
Without
traumatic
any of them
force to balls.
using the dick and balls, in the show.
Because the penis is way too scary for this this prudish show with bukkake and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And BDSM.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And scissoring.
That's why they have to be flaccid, because an erect penis is more threatening to people. So they try to make them like every time you see a guy with his wiener out, they make it flaccid. So it's not as
That's
scary.
true, Mandy. That
It's 100% true. Yeah, you're always going to get a flaccid wiener.
Bring back the dong. That's all I have to say.
The article about Faye being too sexy, I think they wrote that article because the opposite is true. But it's like one of those columns. No, you're not fat. You're the dress is too small or something like that. That sort of thing that women tell each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we do that.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're funny. You really you are. You make me laugh. That sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Are we really that transparent?
Yeah, you're just a bunch of dirty whores. Ben Patch with a 18 pounds says they tried to make Spike a woman. Spike is the quintessential man over the hill, had his chance in life, and it didn't work out. Now he lives his life as a man would. Well, yeah.
I rolled my eyes pretty hard when it came out of the shower and goes, "Oh man, bath, life change. Oh my goodness, no, we're dead. Spike is gone.
No.
Spike has left the building."
Yeah,
and then she's like,
gay.
and she goes in like, "Oh, you should use a loofah." He's like, "Oh yeah." I was like, no.
Yeah, loofah on a stick. I was like, yeah, because he wants that stick up there. That's what's going on.
I was thinking to myself, I would not be sharing a loofah with other people unless I wanted the clap.
That's a bad idea, yeah. Especially when Faye's on the ship.
Yeah, especially with Faye and her crevices.
God knows, with her crevices,
like
God
black
knows
hole.
They
are like a black hole. They'll suck up everything. There ain't nothing left.
They sucked up the character of Faye. That's the first thing they fucking did.
Yep.
They fucked up the character. They sucked up the character of Faye. Heavy Fuel with a $15 says Faye in the anime got everything without sexting anyone up. They reduced her to a series of holes with a bad attitude. Empowerment, Netflix, you're doing it wrong. It's not empowerment. It's obnoxious.
It took away the power of everybody. It took away the agency of every character in the show. Also, I remember this episode in anime, and where Faye's like hunting down this one guy, and she's like in this, I don't know, this kiddie place where like they're serving like milkshakes and stuff like that. And this hardcore guy comes in. He's definitely out of place. And then she goes, "Hey, big boy, you looking for some fun?" He's like, "Oh yeah." And then that allows her to get close. And then boom, gun underneath the chin. How about this kind of fun? And then she would have caught the guy if that was the correct guy. Turns out the guy was there. He's just a lot nerdier.
Yeah. Are you kidding me?
Did you guys have like a little bit of a problem with the overt violence too? Like that scene where they had like the tree grow in that person, and like the way that, I don't know, I just felt like it was so unnecessary.
That was weird because it didn't make any sense. I mean, I know it's kind of really weird in any way, but at least in the anime, it reduced you to like, your animal form, because the evolution it made every human into like a monkey or something like that. That kind of made sense because it hits on evolution. But how do you turn a human into a tree? It doesn't make any sense at all.
Well, I'll tell you why, because global warming.
Yeah.
By the way, that's the one thing that I liked about Faye's character. It's like, I hate environmentalists. Like, okay, I understand. #thanks.
That was her best line in the entire show. That was the best line. Oh fuck, it's environmentalists or fucking nuts or something like that.
Also, it's kind of hilarious when because I kind of like some of the action in the show. I didn't mind all of the action. I like, especially the last part where Spike kills everyone in that club. That was kind of cool.
I like that action scene.
I didn't mind it.
That's not what they showed us. Like, that's not what they showed us in the the promotional clips. Like the first clips is not the awesome over top action that's you kind of see every once in a while on the show. It's Jet and Spike talking about cheesy bread and like,
Yeah,
why?
I actually did enjoy a lot of the action scenes, like when Spike was fighting in that club, or like
Mhm.
when he had that duel with the first guy, I forget his name. Like a lot of the action scene, and that's one of the like shout out to John Cho, even though he's like as old as he is, he did really work out for this, and you can tell that he did a lot of his own stunts.
Oh,
and,
he's
like,
ripped. He's ripped.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's
Oh,
ripped,
yeah,
and he's
yeah,
put in a lot of
absolutely.
work. So like
Mhm.
that was I dug all of the combat scenes and stuff like that. I thought that was really good. But I'm talking about like that overt violence of like I said, like when the tree grew out of that girl, and then she like it's like literally like like she just exploded. Like, I was
I
just
didn't
like,
mind the violence. I really like violence though. Like I really like it's seriously a
Yeah.
problem, but like I really,
Mm.
really like
It
violence with it.
didn't.
I ain't got any problem
Because
with
the
violence.
anime was so incredibly like violent like that too. It didn't
Mm.
bother me watching this. I think they got some of it wrong, but honestly, as long as they weren't like scissoring or talking about, you know, the filler crap that they did, hell, show me them just kicking people's ass and turning people into trees and shit. Fine.
I thought the
Whatever,
fighting
it's-
scenes were good. Like this
Some
is
of
what
them
that's
worse.
what I'm talking about. That some of the stuff did work, and I was like,
That's
oh,
what I
man, if
hate
this
about
is
it is
good-
you can see the potential. That's
Mhm.
that I think is the biggest problem. They didn't make it full suck. They
Yeah.
left a few little good things in there just to get your hopes up, to get your, you know, get you excited. And then again, as soon as they do it and something cool happens, it nosedives again, and you get something so freaking stupid or crappy. You're like,
But the kind of stuff which you say worked was stuff which is pinched mostly from the anime.
yeah,
Yeah,
it came
yeah,
directly
exactly.
from the anime. What they didn't change.
It's kind of like, well, we got to stick this in to make it feel like Cowboy Bebop. Now let's return back to our regular scheduled fucking virtue signaling.
It's kinda like the Zack Snyder
God.
technique. I call it the Zack Snyder technique. Like he's really good when he takes whatever he uses from someone else, like some better stories that are already written. Like that's when he shines.
Oh my
But it's kind of like what if, for example, they had the woman that Faye sleeps with, her working for the bad guy, like secretly working for the bad guy, and then there's a fight because she's gonna kill Faye in her sleep or something. See that's a
Why
old
did it just
school-
have face straight like she was in the anime?
like she was in the
yeah,
anime.
yeah. Why? Because it's not cool to be straight anymore.
Or at least like have her get with other dudes too. Like it's not like, okay, she just got with this one girl. Like it just made no sense, because it's like she uses her sexuality to get what she wants, and it's like, I don't know.
And because she knows that men automatically lay down their guard when it's a woman, and she uses that like every single episode of, well, every single episode she's in there helping people out. Remember, it's like one episode before at the end of the series where like this cowboy guy who's kind of like the anti-Spike or something like that. She's able to get all this information on him because she's like, oh, can I get a ride? And you know, he kind of he lets her on. He accepts her. He drops his guard for her, and he's able to get all this information on him, and that's a really powerful, impactful thing that she does because she's a woman and knows exactly how to manipulate men in that fashion.
Exactly. But they didn't show any of that. All they showed is like she can scissor some chick.
Balls, dickheads, balls, dickheads, balls, dickheads,
Yeah.
and then you know, bad attitude, being.
And then did you
completely
notice
insufferable.
when the next episode after the scissoring one started, it was just 5 minutes of Faye talking about how massively gay she was now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, of course.
Yeah.
Gotta put in there.
2021 slipping in. Right, come on, we got to get on to this this ending business. Julia, who is seen like what 3 times in the anime,
Yeah, like
if that,
literally.
yeah.
If that.
because it's I think it's left more for us to concoct our own story about Spike and
happened.
Julia, and which leads I think to a more interesting, because you'll never know.
Less is more. Less is more.
Yeah,
Less is
again,
more.
less is more. Julia's all over this fucking show like a bad rash, like gonorrhea.
At least she
And,
looked pretty.
She's very pretty, but the character is just all over the fucking place.
Mhm.
She's a victim of domestic abuse. Well, she's a singer. She gets to power. She gets with gangsters. She knows she's with gangsters, yet tries to play not ignorant, but tries to play innocent, and then gets involved in gangster shit. Then has her domestic abuse with Vicious. Has her
character
affair.
made no sense at all.
Her character
None.
was fucking horrible.
Mhm.
It was
it
a
was-
horrible fucking character, and it just didn't gel. Because
It made no sense.
You're showing us everything that the anime didn't show us on purpose.
Yeah.
And then you have her just turn around and be like, "Oh no, I'm cleverer than these boys.
I'm the bestest ever."
Yeah,
I'm
gonna be
the best
this
ever.
boss, and I'm gonna shoot them both, and
Look,
kill them
not
both, and
not
take
every
over
woman-
the whole syndicate. It's like
not every female character. Sorry, mainstream writers. Not every female character needs to be the empowered character. Some female characters are there for the hero to win over and stuff. Okay, so what happens? Yeah, Julia's pretty cool in the anime, but like it's Spike is protecting her. Spike is the one that can protect her and guides her and everything, and she dies because he wants to go to fight instead of running away with her. And I kind of hint on this that it's kind of like a Spike's character is supposed to be like the Humphrey Bogart character, the noir masculine male from Casablanca. You know, we know that he's in love with Julia. We know this, but he meets with Julia again, and he doesn't do what he does in the live action. He goes, "Oh, I love you, Julia. I'm so in love with you. I couldn't stop thinking." He doesn't like this nonsense romantic, not like this horrible schlock that they made him. They gave him the lines of this like this weird trash romance novel, like, "Oh, I love you, I can't live without you." No, that's not Spike. Spike is the Casablanca guy. He's the classic noir masculine male. He goes there and they meet, and then he remains stone-faced. He is strong emotionally, and he puts his something higher, some level of honor above himself over Julia. And Julia's over there, is like, "We gotta run away with me. Gotta run away with the other." Spike is like, "No, I got better things to do. Be gone, thought." It's great.
And then Julia gets shot.
You know, I
And she died,
didn't understand her character at all, because it was like I didn't mind how it started. Like, I was like, okay, she's a little bit of a mysterious character. They're trying to tell us that, like, you know, she got herself into something that she didn't mean to get into, whatever. I don't know. But then it went from like, okay, she's in a bad relationship. Like I said, it was just so fast. Like, it was like, okay, they're dancing and then they're banging. Like, it's like there's no transgression of like what happened between her and Vicious for her to be like, okay, never mind. Like, Spike is clearly a human being and whatever, and Vicious is this cruel mob centered, work centered person that I don't have anything to do with. And you don't see that. And then all of a sudden it's like she's with Vicious, and then they want to say like, you know, Vicious manipulated her into being in a relationship with him, but that's not really the case until, like, you know, in the end, when she's like, when he's telling Spike, like, I told her that you know she chose me over you or whatever. And then that whole speech she gave in the end when she was like telling Spike like, "Oh, you made me like this," and like this whole thing. That's what I was like.
Men are bad.
Men are bad.
Mm.
That was like a feminist wet dream of like dialogue of telling him like, you know, even the guy that because he's standing there saying, "I love you, like we can get through this," and she's like, "No, fuck you, you made me like this, fucking die," and she shoots the guy. Like, I'm just like, what the hell just happened? Like, it makes no sense.
It's because they didn't write her correctly. They wrote her to be, there's no thought behind her. There was no.
She's a thought now.
Yeah, she's a thought, but there was no thought put behind her. She's just a mindless character wandering. I don't know. I think the writing
super
on her,
naive. Like, she's like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I'm just
she's
dumb.
There's
like,
a lack of intelligence. She's just this mindless woman, empty. Just an empty character.
She's not. She's a woman who's in charge of her own destiny. She don't need no man.
Oh,
she don't need it. Sorry, he's pressed the wrong button.
We lost the man.
Oh,
come back in. She don't need no man.
It's so yes, it's so ridiculous. It's just a shit character.
I could see this mentality places.
But you have
mentality.
Sorry, go on.
Well, I know a lot of people, a lot of modern day writers, they don't like the fact that sometimes the male character is the lead, and that the female characters are not the lead, and that some female characters are there to be rescued or tended to, like the knight rescuing the princess. Sometimes female characters are there for the man to rescue or to protect or guide or something like that. They can't really stand that. So obviously, the righting the wrongs of the anime kind of equals giving the female character more power and more giving her like elevating her to the same level as the male character, which you see with Faye first of all, and then later on you see with Julia, which she kind of outplays both men, Gotham High style at the end.
Yeah, and she's now like moving forward. If they do get a season 2, they've made her so that in the end, she's got Vicious tied up in the basement.
Well,
I'm sorry. But if they do, they've got her so that like what, she's the mop boss now, and like she's got Vicious tied up in a basement. Like
she's gonna run this shit. She can run a crime syndicate better than any man. Nina.
And then they had like at the same time Spike be rescued by a trans woman because he fell out of the window. And then all of a sudden he's rescued because Gren knew where he was for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then so that we have these two male characters being basically captivated by these women. Well, one of them is a pseudo woman, but still, I don't know. It's just so fucking weird.
All the male characters from the anime went from being these unattached cowboys to being domesticated. They'll have leashes around their necks with Spike, sometimes literally. So it's just awful.
And now with Vicious, literally, he's tied up in the basement.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Like a literal dog.
In the anime, this is one of the greatest scenes in Cowboy Bebop.
This is the part, because it's the part where speaking of which, this is the part where I fell in love with the show. This is the part, the Battle of Fallen Angels, because up until then, this is a cool show. It's got nice characters. They're fun. They're enjoyable. It's fun in space. They're hunting down bounty hunters. They have these clash between the characters. But this is the part. This is the episode that I really, really saw Cowboy Bebop for what it was, and that's because we get to see Spike encounter the past, right?
Sorry, when you said we could see Spike, I thought that was enough. Yeah,
we had to see Spike first of all.
We saw Spike. We saw who he was.
The thing is, the entire theme of the show, I know themes has become kind of meme worthy, but themes are important, but only if you can construct them properly. But the thing is, with Cowboy Bebop, one of the themes of the show is that you're running away from your past. Every single character is tied to the past, and they're running away from it, trying to start a new life. But this is the first time we actually see a definitive.
Well, I'd argue they're not trying to start a new life. They're stuck.
Oh yeah, they're stuck.
They're going through the motions, but they're not going forward.
Exactly. So they have the dreams of moving on and becoming something new. So some new extravagant life, but they can't because the past keeps dragging them back. It's kind of like that scene in Godfather 3 where like I keep trying to get out, but they keep pulling me back in. That's kind of what happens. And I want to note that one of my favorite books of all time was The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. And one of the major reasons why that is because the final line of that scene, or the final scene and then the final line, isn't it pretty to think so? And that line seems to be the foundation for Cowboy Bebop, where they have all these extravagant dreams. And like, isn't it pretty to think that we might one day have a free life, a new life, we have riches and be friends and free one day somewhere on a mansion far away? That's pretty to think so, but it's not going to come true. It's not real. We can fantasize about it, but it's not coming true. And that's kind of what the Battle of Fallen Angels kind of encapsulates that essence. It capitalizes the entirety of the theme that you see running throughout Cowboy Bebop, where Spike has to encounter his past once again. He's been running away from it, has to encounter it, has encountered one of the most intriguing and powerful forces of his past, the face of the past he wants to forget, which is Vicious. And then we get to see him face off against his past in almost a literal fashion. And then, boom, we get to see them clash, and Spike didn't win. It's a stalemate. And he almost dies because he has to, in order to survive, possibly, he has to dive out of the window, and the fallen angel kind of.
Well, no, it's Vicious.
He
fucking grabs his face and pushes him out the
fucking out the window.
Yeah,
man.
And then he leaves behind a grenade. Like the boom, you're not even be able to defeat me, Vicious. Well, it's a stalemate. Because
if I'm dying, you're dying with me. I'm taking you with me.
Exactly. He kind of falls, and he's remembering his past, the one he wanted to forget. And he sees
and it's a foreshadowing for the end as well, because that's exactly what happens.
Well, to me, that's where Spike thinks it's over. That first encounter, he's gonna die, falling. He's reminiscing about Julia, and he's dropped the grenade, and he's taking Vicious with him. And then because this is Cowboy Bebop, and this is setting the thematical tone for the whole show, this episode, because then it goes into I'm alive.
Yeah. You
and I
died
can't
again.
and I still can't move. So I can't move on. So this is why at the because they fucked session 26 now. Session 26 is fucked because of this series. Because the whole point is going back and like he says to Faye when he's leaving, I'm not going there to die. I'm going there to see if I'm alive.
If I was ever alive in the first place.
And when he goes back and he's fighting Vicious. Vicious is nothing of a character now in this show. So session 26 is completely fucked.
It's gone.
It's done.
And I think they're gonna change it because that's what I'm saying. If they get a season 2, which I hope to God they don't, but if they do, that's the thing, right? Like Julia is gonna be the villain, and it's gonna be like Julia is the key to everything, and it's gonna be like, okay, like we have to bring him back to the her back to the light side and all this bullshit, and it's like
Julia to die. I don't want her to be saved.
And Faye, can they just both die?
Can we get like a package deal or something? Can we get like a 2-for-1 deal?
And also throw in that fucking weirdo Ed or whatever, because that's
fuck it, strap Gren to them as well. You know, just
fuck.
Can everyone
kill them
blow
all?
up the Bebop? Like get everyone on the Bebop and just blow it up. That'd be
staple Anna on top of them.
Jet Black can survive. Everybody else
needs
fuck
to be
off.
the only one.
Okay, during the Jet Black episode, I literally was thinking, what if we had like a whole series about this version of Jet being a cop? I think that'd be kind of cool because they did that pretty well.
I like that.
I'd
That
watch
was
it.
tolerable.
Yeah, this is what
but they
I'm
were
talking
just
about.
they're copying the anime which did it better.
Because that's why it worked. It's the Zack Snyder method. Just copy someone better. That's it.
But this is what I'm talking about, the potential that was there, and it's like, no, this is nothing. Sorry, go ahead, Az.
No, I was gonna say, so I think is this a 10 out of 10 recommend?
Negative 10.
EC10 for destruction.
No.
Yeah.
Right,
Fuck it,
EC10.
mutual destruction.
Yeah.
Let's go through the remaining supers. We got Mr. Buttcrap Media with a one. I know, true story. With a $1 Canadian what dog. Daniel with a $5 says, please do more of these super team ups. They are great. Thanks, Daniel.
Oh, awesome.
Dr. Crow with a $2 says, Bebop, more like lame bop. Got him.
No.
Self high five.
You ain't.
J Mac with a $50 super chat. Thank you, Jay. Empower women by making them bitchy, quirky, and flawless. Also, don't forget to surround them with brainless dudes. Yes, queen. Arcane was a great example of strong women. It's not hard to do. Do you know what's a great example of strong women as well? Cowboy Bebop, the anime.
Yeah, the women that were there were strong.
Yeah.
They already had great female characters in there. You don't need to have elaborate, lengthy female characters in there where we elaborate on the character at every point of the day. That's not characterization. Characterization and all those little points that make them people. All those little complexities.
Electra in the movie as well. She's great.
I think that in Cowboy Bebop, I think my favorite female character in this show, like in
live
the,
action or
the live action,
okay,
was the club owner, like the
club owner was good.
The black lady.
Yeah, the lady was good.
Yeah, I like how she took that, like the sword in the leg. That was good. You know, she sacrificed body and limb.
Yeah, she was a good character. She was actually a good character.
I was thinking they're going to make her like another Mary Sue kind of character, where she gets the sword in the leg and she goes, "She still stayed brave as a salute. She didn't tell me anything." But no, she broke. She was a human. They wrote like a human being or something.
Yeah,
I thought she was good. I thought like probably the best character out of that entire show, like in terms of her like feminine, like female power.
That's sad, but I think you're right, Nina. I think that was the best like female in the show. And that's
it's kind of like a common misconception that a female character is only interesting and good and empowered when they're powerful. So if we don't like them, we got to do the Ray thing. Just give them more and more and more power, more power, more power, more power.
But don't make them work for it. Don't have any kind. No story is how they overcame anything. Just give it to them. They don't.
They're women.
Kate Bishop.
Sorry. Exactly.
I thought it was woman 24 with her tits out doing the drugs.
That's That's
Oh,
reasonable.
The dominatrix obviously is
Because she got her cans out.
powerful woman.
Of course.
Ah.
That always helps.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the chick with the like eyes showed so shut. The crack.
I was, yeah.
Crack whore. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Even
The one the cans out.
Comic book Kate Bishop. Look, comic book Kate Bishop also sucks. I guess I read one of the stories there, and the whole thing. She begins the story by just casually beating up and capturing a bunch of bank robbers, and the main story is her going after a guy who was mean to a girl online.
Oh.
Wait, who is this? They're talking about?
Kate Bishop. The Kate Bishop,
oh.
the comic book version of
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
And
I didn't
there's no character arc or anything. She just kind of walks outside and finds him, and then tackles him. And then because he didn't do anything actually illegal, he gets met with a fate worse than death. And she drags him off and says, "I'm going to give you a lecture about feminism." Like, oh, no, send him to jail. That's too cruel.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a
I'd
lecture.
rather almost anything other than having to be taught to about feminism.
That's basically that's exactly what she says. Like, I'm gonna give you a talking to about how to respect women and stuff like that.
Yeah, I would
It
know.
don't need to be that horrible, for fuck's sake.
I mean,
Jesus.
that's kind of wasn't it violate the Geneva Convention or something like that? That's like a war crime. Like
A
showing
woman
somebody
talking
last
about
Jedi.
feminism should be a fucking war.
Yeah.
crime.
Like, can we get the people together? Can we get the crew together? Figure this out? We make this a war crime.
Yeah,
I think so.
neo-feminists need to just
I
that's
think for feminists, we need to bring back like the 1950s, like slap your bitch and get her in check move that men used to do. And I think we need to bring it back and let it
the backhand.
The
We need to
backhand.
bring back the backhand.
They're getting too wily. They're
Bring
too
back that
big
rule of
off the
thumb.
words.
The rule of thumb seemed to be working pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't want to smack a woman around.
They're not a woman, it's a feminist.
It's just
yeah.
I don't know because I
There's
won't
a-
even be. I want
there's
to be
a
fucking close to a feminist.
They're not the
I
same
don't
thing.
wanna be close
Feminists
to
and women are two
Yes.
completely different.
That part's true. Yeah.
Now this is a
different
gender I could get on. I could get into.
Let's go
Just,
third
you know,
gender, just men,
Yeah.
women, and feminists.
women,
Yeah.
freaky feminists. Sistek with a $2 says cottage pie is beef. Shepherd's pie traditionally has lamb. There's the difference.
Oh, that's
Damn, I knew
interesting.
that
I
as
didn't know
well. Fuck.
that.
There you go.
Okay.
Jordy with a 5 Australian says One Piece is life. Nina, you're missing out.
I guess I'll just miss out. I'm fine with that.
Big Al with a £5 says before the pump video, beg your pardon, they just called me Al. Oh,
Oh my
from
god.
Big Al. Oh my god.
Heyo.
0 hour discussion with JM Cruz. That sounds like a fucking radio show. Coming at you from 121 FM with 125 Argentinian laser pistols. Hail! Netflix destroyed another beloved IP. The only anime that got a good live action is, pronounce this one. Rurouni
Kenshin.
There you go.
That
Watch
was,
it as. Okay.
It's pretty good because it's made in Japan.
I liked it.
There's like 3 or 4 movies of those. It's made in Japan. They respect the continuity. It's still kind of it's not that good. I mean,
It's
relatively
very
speaking.
Japanese anime though.
Yes, it
like,
is.
It's
It
like
is.
it's all Japanese cast, and it's like literally like it's an anime that's made into live action. Like
It
you
actually-
literally have the same things. It's
They
like,
actually enhance some of the storylines. There's some essences to some things in there that they do. They kind of enhance the storyline, so you can tell that it was made by passion. But
Mhm.
there's some things that because it's a movie, they have to skip out and cut a lot of stuff. So
yeah.
it
Well,
gets
let me
kinda
ask you
weird.
this actually: have you seen the anime of Rurouni Kenshin or
Rurouni Kenshin.
Samurai X, as it's known in the States? It's good. You would like it. You would like it a
It's
lot.
pretty good. It's like if you want Superman, like
What's that
Superman.
face?
It's
What are you doing?
pretty
so
good.
hot.
Women like it because it's a romantic swordsman. He's like the ultimate husbando.
So sexy. Look at those lips.
Those are DSLs right there. I like it.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. Jesus Davila with a Davila? Yeah. Davila with a $1 fitty. What? Ava Yantz with a $20 says no one seems to be catching on that the thug that helps Julia is Shin, who's supposed to be, and I did know this was just bullshit, that's all, who's supposed to be an Asian man in the anime, They made Shin a woman because they didn't want a man to take pity on Julia, helping her go free.
That was Shin?
I
didn't know that.
I did know that.
Because
you mean the
Asian
lesbian that like makes the car swerve? Is that what you're talking about?
I didn't know that was Shin. Also, first of all, Shin was also a twin. So there's like another guy out there.
There's another one. Yeah, there should be another. Yeah.
But they made her into a lesbian woman.
And Shin's killed.
Yeah, Shin gets killed, and then there's another guy.
When Gren's after them, he is it?
He jumps in front of the. I don't know.
Jumps in front of Vicious when I think it was. Was it Gren that shoots or Spike that shoots?
I forgot which one it was. I think it was Spike or Gren, but I think
it's Spike or Gren anyway. Yeah.
God.
So no, it did. No, it was just there's just no fucking point really.
No, I knew that too, but it was so evident that they turned him also into a lesbian woman because she was like a total lesbian. Like there's no.
No, you could tell she was a lesbian. She was in a Netflix series.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's usually how you can tell.
Orphan Organs. Oh my god. With a $5 says, have y'all seen Super Crooks on Netflix? It's surprisingly good.
I have not.
No, I haven't.
What is it called? Super Crooks?
Yeah. If it was Super Cooks, they'd be like, ooh.
I'm writing it down now.
I have not seen that.
Sleepy Balloon Zombie with a $10 says, did you ever watch Arcane? I haven't watched it yet.
Heard that was good.
I haven't seen it. I've heard it's good.
I will watch it. I will watch it. Maybe we'll watch Arcane and do another something like this. You never know.
Okay.
Brown Cajun with a $5 says, if you're looking for something to wash out the taste from your mouth, search AMV Tainted Donuts. It's fan-made music video crossover with Bebop and Trigun. I'll give it a listen. By the way, the anime of Cowboy Bebop has some of the fucking greatest music.
It does.
It's integral to the series. I think each episode is named after some sort of music, honky tonk, women.
Yeah, jazz songs.
Yeah,
it's all jazz songs.
Jupiter Blues, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
which is funny because I hate jazz, but I love that's the only jazz I've
this
ever
is like a
liked.
fusion, though, isn't it? This
Ballad
is
of Fallen Angel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing with Samurai Champloo. It's kind of like they had like hip hop, lo-fi plus the samurai stuff. It's really good stuff.
Rain. Oh,
there's so much good stuff in there. Literature Devil. Did you ever see Space Dandy?
No, but I've seen it.
Is that about as gay space, man?
So it's by the same creator as Cowboy Bebop, and it's basically kind of like Cowboy Bebop if Cowboy Bebop was on 10 pounds of acid. It's like the most insane anime that you'll ever watch, and it makes absolutely no sense. And it's just insanity. But I didn't really like it. Like I'm not a huge Space Dandy fan, but I liked Champloo. I thought Champloo was good.
Was Space Dandy on the same channel that Cowboy Bebop ran on? Was it Cartoon Network too? Because I swear that sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was a Cartoon Network.
I think I've seen it a few times, not a lot. But
I don't know. I think maybe it's too earlier or too much later. So it's like I think it might be a Crunchyroll thing now. I don't know.
Okay. This is a very important super chat. Ben Pats with a £9 super chat says, "Hey Mandy, could you just jump up and down real quick, please?"
Like legit, like I can do this, and it's pretty impressive. I can go further down. That was pretty impressive, right?
What? Oh, you can go.
There we go.
Okay.
There you go. You got the
There
bounce.
we go. Bouncy. There we go. All right.
Sorry?
Oh, we're getting okay. They're not bouncing good though. This is a tight shirt, so y'all aren't getting the.
Mandy's not even pretending that she doesn't even know what this is about.
I know what this is. This is like make your elbows touch behind your back type shit. You know, can you make your elbows touch?
I don't know. Try.
I can.
No, you try. I want to see you.
Go, Nina. You try.
I'm not doing that on camera. I'm not falling for that.
Women are so unsporting.
Look, she's gonna do it. She's just gotta adjust. She's got no idea, but I'm doing it.
When did this Cowboy Bebop discussion devolve into pornography?
We're talking the live action version. That's why.
I know.
That's what happens.
Captain James T. Skywalker with a $2 says, Mandy, my love bug.
Hey, love bug, how goes it, sir?
Joe Fro
She turned all
007.
British.
I don't know. Like, what the fuck?
Pipper cheers and all that.
Jack the Ripper fucking
Ice
stuff.
doesn't know that I
What?
really live in the UK, and I'm just using a fake Southern accent. I'm really
Apples
from
and
the UK,
pears, all
though.
that palaver.
And then
Cheerio,
finishes the stream.
Ice.
Yeah.
Bullet
Cheerio.
Cheerios
Gosh,
and all
the
that.
stream's over. Thank goodness for that. I couldn't help but put on that horrible Southern accent. It's terrible.
Hi.
Bring me my slippers and my tea.
Crone, give me my tea.
And bring me an orphan to hit.
And crumpets or whatever.
Yeah. Joe Fro 007 with a $5 says, we need these 3 on Friday Night Tights. Make it happen. Hey, I'm a co-host. It's not my show. Ben Pats. Oh boy, what's he gonna ask for now? With a £9 says Spike. Oh, thank goodness. Would happily face death. Whatever happens, happens. That's what he says when he's in his in the swordfish.
Spike actually has a lot in
he
common
is-
with Mugen from Samurai Champloo.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I need to see that.
Oh, you should. You should. It's fantastic.
He is a man facing inevitability.
Because Mugen, his whole thing is about fighting a guy who can beat him. Like, he wants to fight badasses. That's basically all he says. Like, I want to fight. Also, Mugen, also voiced by Stephen Blum. So,
I mean,
larger
that's the huge thing. That's the huge thing. Steve Blum's Spike is incredible. He's just really just makes that character so alive.
He captures it really well. Yeah, absolutely.
John Cho doesn't have that gravitas for me.
I have another question. Have you seen Outlaw
Sure.
Star?
Alosar is good.
I am aware of it. I haven't seen it.
It's like
You'll
Cowboy
love
Bebop
it.
with magic.
Yeah,
Ooh.
it's
really
really
interesting.
good.
I'm currently I've currently started watching Black Lagoon.
Heard that was good. Heard that,
It's all right.
if Quentin Tarantino made an anime, that's how it was
Yeah.
described to me.
Yeah, it's sort of like Cowboy Bebop turned up a bit, but it's not in space, it's on Earth. And
Yeah.
it's in contemporary time. But it's they kind of got the same archetype of characters that sort of Bebop's got. So I was trying to have a look at that.
You'll love Outlaw Star because it's like an older one, and it's in space, and it's got like, you know, the mysterious girl. They have to figure out what like she's about, and it's really good. It's really good.
Neo Johns with a £5 says watching with about an hour delay. So apologies if you've already had this through. Shepherd's pie is lamb's mince, cottage pie is beef or pork mince. we
now
just
we
got
know.
it, Neo, but it's okay, dude.
Knowing is half the
Thank you.
battle.
Yeah.
Both of those sound like a chicken pot pie to me.
And then Mandy thinks beef is chicken, so fuck
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know. Paolo 74 LFC with a £4.50 says VT is an amazing strong woman character. If they gave her purple hair with a side cut in the live action, I'm double not watching it. No, they just gave her an obnoxious personality and she doesn't resemble Faye at all. But there you go.
Not in the least. Not
Nope.
physically, not characteristically, not anything.
Hold
There's
on, I'm sorry.
nothing about her.
VT. I was sorry. I thought he was talking about Faye Valentine for a minute then. VT?
Vicious? I don't know. VT? I don't
VT is an amazing strong woman character.
Vicious is an amazing strong woman character.
know.
Sure. Okay. We kind of lost a little bit on that one, dude. Inokmamon with a $5 says Ryan Kinnell agrees with everything Mandy just said about the 50s. Yes. Backhands.
Backhands, bring them back. Bring them
As
back.
Ryan says,
They're saying heavy metal queen. I don't know.
we got a couple
Oh,
of
yeah.
Chevalier Delise has been a member for 18 months at the Jedi Master level. Says, hello, Mandy, Nina, Devil, and Az. I loves you guys. At least
hello.
that joke of an adaptation made me watch the anime for the first time. Lols.
Aw.
Arcane is great, as was the 3D He-Man, surprisingly. What dog? He's not talking about the Kevin Smith one. He's talking about the
Yeah,
other one.
I heard that 3D one's supposed to be pretty good. I haven't seen
Really?
it. Yeah.
Well, I heard it. Yeah, and somebody said because it focuses on He-Man.
Yeah, I heard that.
Wow,
I heard he's
that's
actually the
a-
main
Yes.
character.
That's a
Who
novel
would-
idea.
Make a He-Man character, make a He-Man show focusing on the main character He-Man. It's going to be a little more successful. Who knows?
Wow.
Who would have guessed?
Wouldn't have thought that.
Sensei Sharkbait with a $5 says, "Hot dog." Any thoughts on how they'll butcher Yu Yu Hakusho?
Hopefully he won't. Yu Yu Hakusho is amazing.
I didn't even know that they were making that into live action.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. It's like the better Dragon Ball Z.
Easy by saying.
Wait, they're actually making this into live action?
I think I heard about that.
This is how they're going to fuck it up, dude, by putting a Netflix production.
Everyone's a lesbian. That's how they'll make it.
Wait.
I also heard that they're making a live action of One Piece and also a live action of Gundam. I think they're making Gundam.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fucking shit show.
They're all going to be a shit show because Hollywood, this woke is still running Hollywood. So anything they produce is going to be this shit, right?
But especially Gundam. I mean, that's gonna be
Mhm.
like, oh god, I don't
It's
know
gonna
what
be
they're
horrible.
gonna do to that
It's
one.
gonna
It's
be
gonna be like
horrible.
Pacific Rim with like gay people and like trans people.
Well, now you've almost sold me on it. Now I'm thinking I may need to see that.
Well,
gonna
that's who's going first next war because I want to be progressive. So.
Rainbow Pacific Rim. That's gonna be the gun.
licking my rainbow Pacific Rim. Marksman of 117B with a $10 says, "I remember when the author explained how Spike doesn't just die at the end. His fate is determined by the viewer and their conclusion of what it means to really live. So much deep messaging ruined." Yeah, the ending is meant to be ambiguous.
It was.
So yeah, you can create your own if you so desire. There's no set in stone version of what happened. But you know, I think it kind of brings his story full circle.
Mhm.
What did you guys think? I thought he died.
I thought
What
he
did you guys
died.
think?
I thought he
Yeah.
died.
Oh yeah, I thought he died too.
Okay.
That's pretty good. It's a pretty fitting ending to him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
hmm
I mean, I cried because I assumed he was dead.
Bang.
I cried about it.
I
for
did
a
too.
couple
I cried
minutes.
a lot.
Mhm. I felt kind of sad for a few days afterwards. So
Yeah, but it's so
did you
good.
feel sad? Did you feel sad a few days afterwards for like the character or for that the experience was over?
I think it was a little bit of both. I think it was a little bit of a mix of both, probably.
Mhm. Yeah, because
'Cause
that
I-
happened to me too. Like
Yeah.
I remember when it finished, like I was like, it's done. Like it's like
It's over. Yeah,
Wow.
it gave me the Star Wars feeling, like on the final Star, not the Disney shit, but
No,
the
I know
good
what you
ones. When it came
Yeah.
to an end, I was like kind of sad for a few days. I mean, not as bad as when not Baby Yoda, but when Yoda died. I cried when Yoda died, though. Not Baby Yoda.
I did too. I did too.
I cried. It was sad.
I never watched Baby Yoda, so I don't know how the fuck that shit works.
I quit watching it.
Kip Create Gaming with a $2 says, "Space Dandy is just Cowboy Bebop with Johnny Bravo."
And on crack.
Sold.
Like 10,000 pounds of crack.
0-hour discussions with JM Cruz on 1WBFM says for 50 Argentinian laser pistols, Nina, Mandy, and Literature Devil's thoughts on Hellsing Ultimate.
Ooh,
I don't think I've seen Hellsing. I saw the original Hellsing.
Yeah,
But,
I saw the
I like
original
Hellsing.
one.
I have the
I
entire.
like Hellsing.
I have the entire
I've
manga of
never
Hellsing though. I have like the hardback copy too. So it's
Oh,
pretty
that's
good.
nice.
I like Hellsing. I like it.
I like the
Cool.
original. I haven't seen the ultimate, so I haven't.
Mm-mm,
One of my
I
favorite
haven't seen the
aspects-
ultimate yet.
One of my favorite aspects is the religious part of Hellsing, where like the main characters are part of the Hellsing Foundation, and they're all Protestant. So they they clash with like the Catholic Church and stuff. That's kind of interesting aspect to it. And Integra, she's a woman, but thing is, it's kind of strange to see, especially in this day and age, this woman who's also religious and has principles. So at one point she's like she gets angry that they lose so many men that they have to start recruiting guys who are not actually part of the faith. I think she refers to them as heathens. So I thought that was kind of interesting that she kind of upholds this tradition and these principled aspects to her character, and she's dedicated to her father and everything. And then that puts her at odds with the Catholic Church and other monsters and things. I thought that was kind of an interesting aspect to it.
That's really cool. Mandy, did you because you made Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter? Did you have like Hellsing or Vampire Hunter D as an inspiration for any of those?
No, I went straight for literally I was reading like documentaries and stuff, like watching the documentaries and reading all the books that really delved into Jack the Ripper and the Highgate Vampire, which is actually was a thing over in the UK where they literally were out in cemeteries like with news crews talking about the Highgate Vampire killing people and stuff.
Because your like the style of your story though totally gave me like the Vampire Hunter than the Hellsing
nice
vibes.
What?
So,
I'll take
like
it.
that.
Shit.
I like that.
Stop.
Buy her back.
She's gotten vicious over here. Stop.
More vicious than
More vicious?
More vicious than vicious.
The Waltman 4 with a $5 says, a real talk, medium rare, well done, or blue rare steaks. Also, the irresponsible Captain Tyler is worth a watch if you haven't watched it. Medium rare. From a steak.
Medium rare.
Medium rare.
Yeah, obviously.
Same here.
Well done.
Jesus.
Oh, gross,
Blood,
Mandy.
nasty ass blood and no.
Blech.
I can get rid of her. Le Chevalier de Lys with a 2 Canadian says, as your co-hosts aware of your shepherd's pie? Moving on, Kink. Moving on from that one. Ian Soforth with a £15 says, as I consider your He-Man 2 summary from last week to be essential viewing. You need the super panel back to properly dissect it.
Well, hang on. Let's go. Oh,
Okay,
can we go back to the other one for a second? So, is that like, did you like end up humping a shepherd's pie or something like that, like American Pie, but with like a shepherd's pie?
I just think shepherd's pie is very. It's an in joke from the stream.
Okay, so you didn't stick it in one. Okay, great. Thank God. Okay.
No, I have not. Nina Infinity. I have not inserted my phallus into a shepherd's pie.
Just making sure, man.
Cottage pie, warm or cold.
On camera.
Regardless of lamb, mince, or fucking chicken if you're Mandy.
Are you going to though?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
Literature Devil. Yeah, Literature Devil said not on camera. That
something to look forward to.
But I am, yeah.
A million subscribers.
I just need to heat it
on.
up in the microwave.
Game's on.
Oh my god.
It's like American Pie, but British, and it's
British pie.
British shepherd's pie.
I like it.
Dad, sex is like sticking your dick in shepherd's pie.
I would let it cool first, though. Don't do it right when it comes out, because that'll.
Well,
burn.
no, when it comes straight out of the fucking oven.
Yeah, no, it'll burn your wiener.
You want
Don't
to
do
live
it.
dangerously?
It will burn my wiener. Yes.
Yeah,
sensitive down there.
Wiener.
Really being a dick right now. Stop.
I know she's. Well, did you see the pictures on Twitter when Frank accosted me?
I did.
He just jumped. He just started licking me like a madman. And I was like pushing him off, and then he just climbed on my head, and then just started licking the fucking head like a crazy one. He just went mad on me. He was so good.
That's so cute.
And then when I left today, when I came back, he cried.
Oh, that's what she does when I leave. She cries the whole time.
And it was heartbreaking. I was like, no, Frank, no.
I'm going into your Twitter feed now just so I can see this.
Have any of you watched the He-Man Part 2, the He-Man Revelation Part 2?
I didn't watch the whole thing. I didn't watch any of it.
Good, don't bother. It's fucking dog shit.
That's what I figured.
I just laughed at the fact that Evil Lynn looks like Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure now. That's kind of funny.
Oh.
You thought it was Evil Lynn, but it was Dio. I was like, yeah, that's exactly the same.
Yeah, that.
I watched the real BBC where you like talked about it and the fact that like she bangs Skeletor, and I was like, excuse me.
Well, she tries to. She sexy Skeletor to get the sword. She's like, "Hey, Skeletor, now that you're really powerful, do you know what we haven't done for a minute? That's what she's
Talk about a boner there.
That's what she does.
Why were
Yeah.
there 2 of them?
Well,
He's made of bones.
One's Skeletor, one's the sword of power.
Okay, I'm hip
Oh
to
my
that
God.
time now.
I held aloft my magic sword, baby. And I
Oh
said
my
the words.
God.
Jesus, make a man. Okay. Live you with a 25 runs says Gundam live action. Oh boy, It's a Gundam is on Suicide Watch. The only good news I can say is he is aware of this.
Yeah.
So,
Well, the thing is, Gundam, like the power of Gundam, just like the power of Cowboy Bebop had like the whole running frame pass thing. Power of Gundam has about nuanced look at war. You really think that's going to happen at Netflix in modern day? I don't think so.
A nuanced look at transsexuals in war.
Yeah, that's how
war
they're
is
going to
just
do
so
it.
horrible at
Trans in the
transsexual.
military.
Except without the nuance.
No
Yeah.
man or woman's, no man's have been affected by war. Just women and transsexuals.
And, yeah, men die in battle, women most affected.
Yes. Perfect. Enoch Mamon again with a $5. $5 says it'll be called Pacific Quim.
Oh, hey. Okay. Yeah.
Wolfsplane with a $5 says Yuseke will never fly in today's censorship. He's too much of a savage, especially in the dubbed. Look up any compilations on YouTube.
Yeah, he beats up a transvestite. They said like there's a demon who has a dick but looks like a woman, and he's like he checks her out. It's like they clash. He's like, oh, yep. He felt her boobs in her dick. He's like, okay, that's why I'm
Wait,
beating her
what
up
is
so
this
badly.
we're talking about?
As a Yu Hakusho. Like, there's no way that show, because it follows one of the golden rules of fighting, where all the men do the fighting, all the girlfriends and stuff are cheering on from the sidelines. Like that's obviously how it should go. But it's so masculine and it's so like they would call it right wing, but it's so it doesn't care at all.
Right wing, just because it's masculine.
Yeah, because it's masculine. They'll call it right wing.
That's funny.
This world's so fucked. It's unbelievable.
It's so bad.
It's good. I
ridiculous.
suggest it. I think I like it way better than Dragon Ball Z. It's kind of like a sister or a brother show to Dragon Ball Z.
I have
Okay.
to watch that.
Packled Scholar with a €20 says, I love this kind of stream. It reminds me of the old days when we passed around VHS tapes of anime and we were just real nerds.
Oh, I remember those days.
Well, I mean, I know Nina's been on once before, but I wanted new voices. I wanted, Mandy's not been on, Literature Devil's not been on my channel. So I wanted new voices, and because Nina's only been on once, it's essentially a new voice anyway. So I wanted to bring like a different feel with this one. Different people, different voices, and I think it's worked very well.
It's fun.
I think it's been a lot of fun.
Gotta get that representation, that diversity in there.
Of course.
No, I just got the only two chicks with Twisted in here, so
Diversity is strength, So
Hey, I'm Middle Eastern, so
Persian.
technically, yeah, Persian.
I'm a
from
cracker.
So
I'm
I represent-
straight cracker.
I'm here representing all devils.
and Mandy's a
Persian,
cracker.
Canadian. She's
Is that
a crack
or a
whore.
cracker?
Not a crack whore.
Mandy's
Cracker.
Not on camera.
Mandy's a shrunken cracker. Okay,
I could
in a
say,
little.
but if I hold myself up, that
Do
my
you know
arms aren't
this?
strong enough.
Mandy, there's another trick that you can use. It's called
Maybe
Zoom.
they can't. No, I can't zoom. Can I?
You
I guess I
can.
could.
Yeah, you go to properties and you just zoom the camera.
I guess I could. I'll figure it out. Next time y'all see me, I'm gonna be like, boom in your fucking face. Like, right
Okay.
there. You'll say.
Wait, did you just say boob in your face? Because
No,
people will
but I
love that.
said boom, but eyes can't understand what the hell I'm saying anyway. So he probably heard me.
I just smile and nod. Yeah.
Yeah, baby. He has no clue what I'm asking him. Not a clue.
She might as well be Bulgarian for all I. Le Chevalier Delise with a 2 Canadian says, sorry, not sorry as. Ben Patz with a £1.79 says, Outlaw Star has the best opening, Gene Starwind. And finally, we got to the end. Apollo 536 with a $20. Thank you, sir. Says, after listening to this train wreck and the damage control that's underway, I am grateful to have quit Netflix during the Cuties fiasco. Here's some money that should have gone towards a subscription. Great show, guys.
Thank you. Yay.
Thank you.
Everybody out there.
Fantastic.
Thank you guys for watching.
And that wraps us up absolutely perfectly. So everyone, Nina's, Mandy's, Literature Devils, the links to their channels are in the description box down below. Please go click those links, subscribe to their channels, check them out. Because if you've enjoyed, and we've had a good audience tonight, we're past 1,600, steady 1,500 for the last half hour as well. So if you've enjoyed it, then you're going to enjoy what these people are doing. You know, so please click on their links in the description box and subscribe to their channels. Give them some love, give them some support. Nina, anything you'd like to plug, my darling?
Yes. Well, tonight I will be hanging out with Mandy Summers over on Midnight's Edge for Toxic Femininity. We do that every Monday night, so 8 Eastern. We will be there. And then on my own channel on Wednesdays, I talk about crazy clown world politics and all the crazy stuff. Fridays, I talk about good news to balance out the crazy clown world. So come and hang out with me. And I do basically entertainment related stuff on Sundays. So come and hang out with me. Thanks.
Thank you. Mandy Summers.
Like what?
Next time I promise subtitles.
Subtitle, damn ass. Don't you subtitle me. Don't you dare. Don't you do it. I'm talking perfect. My English is better than yours. And that's I don't even know how that
It's
happens.
American, obviously the superior version of the English language.
Down the hall and to the right, Mandy. Yeah.
Obviously. So yes, thank you so much for having me on today. Your chat is amazing. You guys can find me over at my channel. It's Mandy Summers. Head over to Indiegogo and check out both of my books, Jack the Ripper Vampire Hunter and Pirate Queen #2. And yeah, check me out on Friday night. I do a stream with Patrick Parnell and Shane Davis, and we talk about all kinds of stuff. This week we are over on Patrick's channel, so come hang out with Patrick, Shane, and I while we talk about it. Usually ends up talking about balls. I don't know how it always ends back that, but it's a lot of ball talk.
Always comes back to balls.
It always comes back to balls.
Before we jump to literature, yeah, and the round, what goes around comes around, just like balls. Just before we jump to literature, I knocked my mom with another $10. Says I got a Blu-ray of Quigley Down Under for Black Friday.
Wow.
This is a fucking old one. This is ridiculous. An 80s Western with Tom Selleck and Alan Rickman as the villains is the opposite of woke culture.
I have not seen that.
I haven't seen that either. That sounds
25
hilarious.
It's been like 25 years since I've seen that. I remember it. I remember old Quigley.
Literature Devil, where can they catch you? Well, they know where to catch you. What you got going on? What you got to plug, dude?
Oh, right now I have Dr. Alpha, Miracle Child, still on Indiegogo. In fact, it's closing pretty soon. In fact, I placed the order for printing today, but I do have something to show off if you want to see it. It's really, really quick. Hold on.
Whoa.
If you want to have a little catharsis after all of this girl power stuff.
Boom.
It's a one-page comic book that I wrote that's going to be included in, I think, both versions of my book. The first rule of supervillainy: never surrender, or you might end up hauled in by some tartan tights as some after-school special. And that's why crime doesn't pay, kids. You might think you're smart, but you end up like this moron. Miss Nightwatch, are you a real superhero? Of course I am. But my dad said girls shouldn't be superheroes. Well, your sexist dad should learn that women are just as good or better at being superheroes as men are.
Or better, absolutely.
Or better. Gotta get the or better in there. And then Dr. Alpha was like, "Are you sure about this? Wouldn't be a fair fight if I didn't. You know I've seen you fight before. And I've taken you down before, okay? Give me your best shot, Alpha. These kids are going to go home today knowing that girls can be superheroes. Boom.
I like how you have a ginger character in there, and he's not like a black man.
Yeah, they're all, the
Nice.
ginger revenge here. You can't replace these gingers, okay? It's just, it's impossible. You can't stop them.
I just like that he knocked that bitch out.
Headbutt.
That was
As
funny.
she was busy talking and stuff, and then boom, headbutt to the face.
Women don't need to be using those talking words. They really don't.
I don't like the violence towards women.
I do. It's fantastic.
I do too. I'm with you.
Can I give one last recommendation for anime fans if you're out there?
Oh, Nina, you're really pushing it today.
Yeah.
3 times 3 eyes. If you want to see amazing, crazy, violent anime, it's very good. So 3 times 3 eyes. Check it out.
There you go. Hey, thank you everyone who turned up. Like I said, we're over 1,600 for a load of the stream, which is absolutely fantastic. So thank you ever so much for the support. Mods, Jennifer, I think Vanessa was here as well. Thank you so much indeed. For
As
doing
is
your
Angels, yeah.
As is Angels, doing As is Angels stuff. It just sounds like ass play, doesn't it? Really?
It does sound a lot like ass play.
Huge thank you to everyone who hit the super chat button and supported the channel that way, and also hit the join button and became a member. Can't thank you enough. And I'll be back tomorrow over at Nerdrotic's channel for the Real BBC. Woo! Wednesday, I'll be on RMB's channel for Fully Articulated. And Thursday, still on RMB's channel for the Calamari Boys as we talk Squid Game, and Friday Night Tights. So until then, you take care. Have a lovely rest of your day, and bye for now.